Ladies and gentlemen, this one you're going to remember for a long time tonight here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, with a man that figuratively and literally, when you think about where we are today in backyard and underground wrestling, without this man, we wouldn't really be here today. I mean, with what he did, obviously, back in the day with the GBYWN and obviously his Rad Hazard and everything he has done in representing the backyard and the underground wrestling circuit. And boy, does he have a lot to talk about tonight. Boy, does he have a lot on the line. And boy, has he made history. And boy, has he made a lot of people proud tonight. And I know that there's a lot of people, I see them already here in the chat, that they want a piece of our guest. They want to challenge him. They want him to be there. They want him to be in this place. We'll talk about some of those things. We'll talk about a wedding invitational. We'll talk about a match coming up in Connecticut that's a winner takes all. We'll talk about a match for New Jack at a tribute show with those prodigies where things get screwy. And we'll talk a lot about GTS, and it'll certainly be legendary when it comes to that. And who knows, whatever else. I mean, we'll figure it out. You're here. I'm here. And this is an important one because also, you know, ladies and gentlemen, this is my last official interview of 2024. Yes, I'm going to be live New Year's Eve. Yes, I'm here Monday. Yes, I'm here tomorrow. But this is the last one. And I couldn't think, ladies and gentlemen, of a better way to have the last full-length interview on Sportzwire Radio in 2024. Some have said that I'm the present him. No way. I can't get in the ring. I don't have that ability. He covered 100 companies. I've only covered like 1/5 of that. And he got to see Ospreay. He got to see Demorest, all the greats. I've had a few, but he's had hundreds of them. And I am now, though, however, going to give him that introduction because I see some people here who really should be focused on their matches coming up. We'll get to that in a minute. They should be here watching their matches. So I hope they have the split screens. But we will, for those here in the chat and the man himself, the myth, the legend, it is now time to give him that introduction that he most certainly deserves on a platform that he certainly has full responsibility in help building into the tune of nearly 1,360 subscribers. Let's do it here because we are in the bright lights, and I have more bright lights guaranteed than almost any podcast. I have 10 actually in my background. So that's what the big bucks can buy. Maybe I can buy GTS, but I don't think Grim will sell that yet. But let's get the show on the road. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give our guest that championship-like introduction here on Sportswire Radio, the #1 global radio station. So with that, wait for further ado here on the Sports Report. #1 global sports show. A man that is a founding father of the present backyard and underground wrestling circuit. Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer. The only man in history at the same time to hold the GTS legendary YouTube and the GBYWN World Heavyweight Championship. His name is simply put Dad Radley Belmont. The champ is here. My friend, how are we doing?
I am feeling maybe better than ever. Let me tell you, First of all, every single time you do that, I'm feeling winded for you, buddy. That is.
Well, it's a good thing, Mr. Raddad, you didn't come here last week on Sportswire because last week I was sick. And, Gabe Sayers, obviously the TF crew, and I met him, and I was so sick as a dog. I was on like 45 Sudafeds and NyQuils, and Gabe is in Manhattan, and he's like, do you want to meet? And I was really like, no, but it's Gabe Sayers, and I like, let me do it. And I met him, and now you got me at 100%. If you would have did this last week at this time, I would have been like, I've been like a boxer who's been knocked down like 3 different times trying to finish the fight. But you got me here 100%.
I absolutely understand. Believe me, that was a big part of the GBYWN reunion weekend. Since we haven't talked about it, that I was also very much under the weather. And still wrestled ultimately 6 people that weekend. So did quite a bit. And medicine and rest was a big part of that. But I totally understand where you're coming from. I'm glad you finally met Gabe Sayers. At some point, you got to run into the Raddad.
I was thinking about that because you technically work on Staten Island. You're on like the other side of Staten Island. So maybe I would feel funny, though, like showing up to your like job, though. I don't know.
A couple of GTS people have shown up in my work, like actually to buy stuff, or and I was never around. Maybe once I was around for one of the guys, but I'm always running, management stuff, corporate.
Okay, because I don't know. I'd feel funny about that, but we have to figure that out. We'll get into that, I'm sure, at a different time. There's a lot of people here I see, and I'm going to give everybody a chance in a few minutes. So maybe I should go into it here because we haven't got a chance to talk about it. So for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform, Raddad Radley Belmont, that you most certainly helped build here, Sportswire Radio. What does it mean to you now to be the GBYWN World Champion?
Putting into words is incredible. In order for me to collect my thoughts, I do want to say something else. During your introduction, you said, everyone's saying that they're the rad hazard of today and stuff like that. We've discussed this before.
Yeah,
you're the Reverend Tom Bryce of this generation, is what you are. And
I like to.
There's something I thought about last time that I was here. I mentioned how I felt like I got lucky, that I did a whole bunch of work and I got lucky, and I feel like I worded it very strangely, but what I really meant about it was that a lot of people think things just fall into place and that you were lucky, but that, it takes 10 years of experience to have a overnight sensation. I feel like
it's a journey. Listen, I mean,
exactly.
It took me 6 years almost to get monetized and get the subscribers and the following. We were talking about this off I shared it like 50-something groups. I just hit 2,500 followers. So they unlock you like a milestone on Facebook. So it takes a while. It's, you're not, and everybody just goes right into it with the last name of Rhodes, McMahon, Flair, Hart. You have to, it's a journey. So, you definitely grinded, and, you've been at this a long time, and it's all, falling into place, though.
Absolutely. And to get back to your question and everything, you're very much a hype machine, just like I was back in the day. I mean, you're putting stuff on all these different group chats and things like that. When I was doing Backyard Wrestling Weekly, I was throwing it on the multiple forums because
Toby talked about that on his last appearance.
Yeah. It wasn't just the GBYWN forum. It was Backyard BYW Rules and a place called Spot Monkeys and the BYW Link, which was a part of this reunion show, the GBYWN BYW Link. A phenomenal opportunity for a lot of guys to get together, and from practically 2 different generations. The BYW Link, which was like around 99, 2000 until 06, 07. And then we had the GBYWN, which the World Championship, which I happen to have right here.
Wow. What a pretty belt. It almost looks like an NWA old model almost.
It's based on a very specific NWA title. It's based on Adam Pearce's NWA World Championship, which is why the wrestling part is curved like a smile.
I'm glad it wasn't based off the 1998 WWF version when they had the NWA.
No, absolutely not. And in that time, through those 2 generations, we had so many names. I mean, you've read off a bunch of them: Will Ospreay, Alex Zane, former Ring of Honor World Television Champion Tony Deppen. The BYW Link before us was even crazier because guys like Kyle O'Reilly and Hornswoggle and Chris Hero wrestled on those shows. It's a whole, crazy list of people. And the ironic thing is, a lot of those guys, they went on to do big stuff, and they still love this community. And I'll give you a great example.
Go for it.
Alex Zane, I don't think anybody would be mad for I say this. He got injured in a New Japan tour. And so he was off, I guess you say off duty. He was injured. He legitimately couldn't wrestle or do anything. And I believe he still lives in Kentucky. As a surprise to everyone, including the guy that ran the show, Alex Zane showed up at the reunion show just to hang out. Because that's what we were. We're just boys. We're just friends. It wasn't about like ego.
Well, you talked about it last time you were here, that most of your friends in life you've met through wrestling. And I would imagine a lot of them are through the GBYWN. And Sick Rick was here a couple times. And, he spoke about the origins of it. And he spoke about his own history. So, I mean, that kind of makes sense because, you traveled, from one end of the country to another. You went up and down the circuit. You obviously, had a run with Jovi in Indiana, and you went to other places. So, I mean, it's in a way, it's kind of, I guess, sentimental, but in the current tense, you're an important link. And I think that's why you having the title, it does mean a lot, because a lot of guys here that I see in the chat that they look to you now, whether it's from the GTS runs or whether it's with the Stepdads or the run, even the one match with the Rock and Roll Express and what you've done. And, I mean, so it is kind of fitting that you have this championship.
I really appreciate that. And everyone who is in the chat, please ask questions. I love
we'll get to them. Well, I got a bit. I told you to be you. People, I don't know why people, you were not included, were like, do you think anybody will show up? I'm like, don't worry about it. They'll show up.
Let me tell you, I was a master.
Listen, Sportswire, like they tell me who they want to show up for. You were somebody I knew they were going to be here for,
Well, I really appreciate that. And that's just, I guess, me being around a long time. I don't know.
I got
you.
But
I will say, I believe out of every job interview I've ever had, I got that job with the exception of one. So
wow.
I love answering questions, and I feel like I must do it well.
I've never had a job interview really in my life, believe it or not.
But yeah, and like you're saying about this championship, I when I won the title, it was in a 6-way. We called it an elimination chamber rules match.
Okay.
And the footage isn't out. I'm not going to give you spot for spot.
Yeah, I know it's an issue. I know Rick was here. Yes. We were supposed to have had it by about a month ago, and it's what it is.
It's been 4 months. I have to at least admit I'm the champion because I'm defending this title, and we'll get into that.
The belt on your shoulder, bro. I gotta be honest. If I can't go, so he's not the champion. You have the title. I mean, it's really, I can't say anything more than that.
So, but to give people an idea of like, oh, this is the GBYWN World Title. What does that mean? Well, this championship was defended in a 6-way elimination chamber rules. That means someone comes in a certain amount of time.
Right.
Against 6 people from 6 different regions of the country. So I represented my part of New Jersey. We had a guy from Florida, Chicago, New York, etc. All that kind of stuff. We went through all these different people because that's what the GBYW represented. All these different parts of not just America, but the entire wrestling world.
Sure.
And that, I mean, legitimately, this championship belt started in 2008, the title in 2008. And then when we got the belt, it went from, it went from Cooperstown, New York to Allentown, Pennsylvania, but then went all the way to Vancouver, Canada. It went to London, England, like there were companies in Australia doing super shows that didn't have a world champion because they recognized us as the world champion.
Well, you guys had 100 companies. I mean, in the GBYWN, it was a major thing. It was, I mean, I know AEW's got the rankings now, and they've got sort of, in a way, a form of what you guys had. But I mean, it was everywhere. I mean, people from England, people, Australia, we spoke about with Rick when Rick was here, and certainly Canada obviously makes sense because of proximity, and all throughout the United States, the GBYWN was a major network. It was almost like, in a way, the Underground Railroad almost. If you think about when you read in history, during the Civil War, you guys were kind of this network, this big link of people from that would have never existed or knew who they were, but because of what you guys were a part of in this organization, you built something really special. And I think that that's why it's very poetic that you have this championship right now. We see the poster, well, the photo that you took, and you got two of the biggest titles anybody could have right now, really, in our circuit, the GTS, and I keep reminded of this, the legendary YouTube championship, and the GBYWN world title. I mean, like, I think that's no better person to hold those belts because of your history and your meaning. And I think that will be very excited to watch that footage when the time comes for it to be released.
I couldn't agree more. And like you mentioned, I would say 99% of the people I know personally came from wrestling, and it might just be my fiance and I don't know, maybe one other person. Like everyone I know is through wrestling, and a lot of that is through the GBYWN because we were so tight knit for so long. We all traveled together throughout the country. I mean, the first time I ever wrestled for this belt was in Salt Lake City, Utah, in 2009. And then the time I actually win it is my third chance at it. The second time was against Matt DeMorris and a guy named Murph who went on to be a WWE.com writer about it.
As a kid growing up, my father was friends with a guy, Murph, actually. He was he worked at a liquor store in Bay Ridge, and I still remember the name Murph. My mother's watching, maybe she'll remember that, but it was Murph. Awesome. He was kind of like a guy who's probably still living in his mom's basement.
I mean, I'll tell you, I love to promote the GBYWN. Former GBYWN World Champion Murph, the guy that I wrestled that night and didn't win the title. Matt DeMorris won the title that night.
Yep.
But he went on to become a writer for WWF.com. Ended up being they had a desk with two guys that faced each other. He worked at for 2 years. And the guy he faced every single morning and said hello to was Joey Styles.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow.
And he ended up working at that desk for about 2 years doing WWE.com stuff.
Did Joey Styles do the scream that he always did? You know,
it was really funny. It was really good stuff. But at some point, because Murph was a really big early adopter of streaming, he really wanted to do something with streaming in WWE. Started talking to some of the wrestlers that he was interviewing on WWE.com. One of them got really interested in that. They went to the big man at the top of the ladder and said, hey, we want to do a video game style website. We already have a writer that'll help us out. And that became Up, Up, Down, Down. So they would, now to be fair, that would not have happened without Austin Creed. It is his baby. But at the same time, I don't know if it would have ever happened if a guy named Murph wasn't walking around asking people, hey, maybe we should do a video game website, video game channel.
You never know. You land into the right places. Yeah. And I want to talk about something else real quick, because you said you were sick. You said that you were sick and you had to wrestle 6 people to win the title. I mean, so what was that like? How did you pull that off? Because that's a difficult thing. Yeah, I go on Sportzwire, I talk for 2 hours and I put my head down. But you had to go wrestle, all these different people. So how were you able to pull that off?
So here's the long and short of it. I was very excited to do this show. I knew it was multiple days in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I was going to get this big match that I would be able to showcase the GBYWN style, super creative, hyper reality, trying to pop the boys who've seen it all kind of thing. That's what the GBYWN represented. It still does. I knew I'd have to be 100%. I ended up having. I took so much care of my body that week. I mean, I did light workouts. My matches were very, very specified, if we want to put it that way. I wanted to make sure without a doubt I was perfectly healthy for absolutely this onslaught of wrestling I was going to be doing this whole weekend.
Sure.
We do a GTS taping, and the GTS taping is over. Everything's done. I think I had a tag team match that night, so not terribly bad for my body.
Okay.
We're about to leave, and there is a pole there, a dancing pole that somebody put up. It's not there all the time. I've never seen it since it was there.
No strippers involved.
Not this time. I mean, I lived in Las Vegas for 16 years. I've seen.
I figured that. I thought you would get
so,
the joke.
And that's the thing. I was sitting there, didn't mind anything of it, and somebody said, "Well, what, you used to live in Vegas, right? You live in Vegas half your life." Yeah. Oh, why don't you show us something on the pole before you leave? And I go, oh, I'm gonna get going. Of course, Jungle Jim Wilder, my tag team partner in GTS, he was going to ride with me. He's doing something.
Right.
I said, maybe. Of all people, Grim goes over and starts doing little twirls on this friggin' thing. He's lost a lot of weight, but he's much.
I know Grim is. That's a big topic. Jimmy mentioned that when Jimmy was here after.
Absolutely, and he has lost a lot of weight, but he's still bigger than me, swinging around. I see no problem. I go, all right. I think I'm going to school these kids real quick. I'm going to do one quick thing, and we'll go. I grab the pole. I go around once. The pole comes off, and I fall right into the hardest table you could possibly imagine. And my leg hits the cement there. So my back of my head hits the table. It does not give. And I hit the ground, and I the impact on my hip is so hard, but at the time I'm just worried about my head, and everyone freaks out and everything. And I'm like, I'm fine because I'm a wrestler and I've landed on my head.
You don't want to tell anybody I'm sick and I'm hurt because people.
And the only thing is I hope I don't have a concussion. That's what I'm thinking in my head because I hit it that hard. I hit my head so hard that a woman in the room got up and ran away crying.
Oh wow!
And I found that out later. Yeah. So because she thought I was like hospitalized, I was like dead or something.
And this wasn't over Papa Bear's picks that didn't do well in football. This was
not this time. But so I did, and all I'm worried about is my head. Oh, this is gonna suck. And this is about 48 hours before the show. So the next morning, I get up, and we're gonna be driving. I'm gonna drive with a guy named Tanner Wilson who wrestled in the GBYWN as Ryan Ragnarok.
I think his name was mentioned briefly.
He was in the GBYWN as long as I was. In fact, he was the first man I ever met in Northeast. He picked me up from the airport in 2011, and I met him there. So we've been friends ever since. He's moved back and forth from Florida, but now he lives up here. Sure. That's the long and short of it. So he's going to ride with me, and I get up in the morning and I cannot walk right.
Oh my God!
And my head's whatever. My head will be fine, but I definitely bruised / slightly pulled my hamstring, in the back of my left leg, and
that's a painful injury. I know that from covering basketball. When you have a hamstring injury, that's like it's a really tough injury because it impacts you and your movement and you're running and jumping. It's a really bad injury.
And there was no sign of bruising at all. It was internal. It was like deep. I don't know if it was a deep bruise. I don't know what it was exactly. Obviously, I'm an idiot wrestler. I didn't go to the doctor. I always recommend people go to the doctor. They should, even if I don't. But I end up, and if you have a hamstring problem in the back of your leg, the best thing to do is, and you know this, Bryce, the best thing to do is sit in a car for 6.5 hours. And let me tell you, I've had some really painful matches.
That's my first thought. I would have, first thing I would.
Oh yeah, just to show how tough I am, I guess. And so I'm in this car for 6.5 hours, and I would say it was worse than almost every match I've ever had, pain-wise.
It had to be the longest 6.5 hours on top of that, right?
Was I like angry and a jerk? No, but I was in a lot of pain. I did not have the best time. It was right up there with the time I had a 26-minute match with a skin condition.
Oh my God, boy!
Yeah, I wore just to say. I
think if you're here right now watching on Sportswire and you're considering going into the wrestling world or going into formal training, if you're a yarder, this might be an example of not to. I don't know what Rad is telling us tonight. Is Rad telling us don't train somewhere in the CZW dojo or in the PAPW facility? I don't know what it is, but Rad, you were certainly telling us things we didn't expect tonight on Sportswire.
Luckily, it probably will never happen to anybody else. I
would hope that.
During the COVID issue, we had access to a GCW ring for a reunion show.
Oh wow! Okay.
So yeah, we had another reunion show inside a GCW ring, which is where I didn't wrestle that day. I hosted the show, but I did a bunch of chain wrestling with Tarzan Duran, and that footage is out there.
Tarzan, very interesting figure. A man I've
Yes.
interviewed. Very interesting figure. Let me just put it that way.
That's actually the first time I had ever met Tarzan Duran. Was I got into the ring and I said, "Let's chain," and then we just started chaining for like 5 minutes until we realized.
Did he want to chain like his joint on? You wanted to offer you a chain of the joints, or no? Just
not this time. I think he was saving us for himself.
But go ahead.
Yeah, by the time we were done, everyone was like surrounding the ring watching us, which tends to happen when I'm chaining with people, and that's one of my favorite things.
I think I've seen that before on your Instagram. You post like a reel, and you'll do something like in the CZW dojo. You've done that.
Yes, yeah, I've chained with like Draven Blaze and Mike Skyros in Massachusetts. We chained once where the entire show, like pre-show, stopped to watch us and stuff. It was very fun.
That's wild.
But not to get off subject. So that day I was out in the heat so much that I actually got like sunburns. Okay, no problem. Sunburns, whatever. But for some reason it had grown into rashes and it was all across my neck and all the way down to my hips.
Oh my God.
I tried to use sunblock, or it's my bad, not sunblock. Like spray, you put on an aloe spray.
Yeah.
Turns out whatever was in it, I'm allergic to.
Oh my God.
So the doctor said it was the equivalent of putting alcohol on a wound that was half my body.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And then because I didn't want to lose my booking because I was wrestling a couple of guys who just actually debuted for Ring of Honor a week ago. For Test of Strength Wrestling, I really wanted this match.
Yeah, because I think you did have a couple of shows around the GBYWN We're Not Dead show, because I remember we had you on here like that month in September, and I'm pretty sure you did have some bookings around it. I remember it well.
Yes. So I end up having a match in a tank top, wrestled the entire match in the tank top. It was the most painful experience I've ever had in wrestling because I took the heat and I got beat the hell in my chest and everything. And then after the match, I went through the curtain and laid in front of the curtain during the next match. Like they walked over me to have that. And then when I finally got to the back, the promoter was there. He's like, "Oh, good match. That was good. And I took my shirt off to put more spray on because I just had to do something.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, if I knew you looked like that, I wouldn't let you go out there." And I said, "That's why I wore the tank top."
BS. He would have been like so disappointed you didn't wrestle, but when after the point, yeah, okay, come on. I mean, really? I mean, you would have been.
I felt obligated because we were a replacement for someone else who couldn't make the match. Understood. And I was like, so that we were the placement, and then we couldn't make it. Like, come on. But anyway, I say all that to say, I had my hamstring issue. 6.5 hours. By the time we get to Pittsburgh, I'm begging. I'm like, what do we do? I need to do something. I'm like bio-freezing my leg. It's not helping. I'm taking tons of ibuprofen. I end up buying 2 braces. We went to Dick's Sporting Goods. I got 2 hip braces, put one on top of the other because I didn't know what size I needed exactly. So I got a large and a medium, stuck the medium over the large. It was super tight on me. And that was just Friday. Saturday, I go to the show. I still have the braces on. At some point, I'll post pictures of me with the braces because I end up wearing them for a few weeks. I wrestled for a place called Matt Pro Wrestling, I want to say 2 weeks later, and I was in a gauntlet. Most wrestling gauntlets, as you've seen a million times, usually one guy wins, and then he's so tired he loses the next one, and then that guy loses the next one. Not too many people go more than 1 or 2.
After the other.
Yeah. Right. Most people go 1-2 rounds. I went 4 rounds. I went 25 minutes. And then the guy that beat me went on to win 1 more match and win the whole thing. So, and of course I did that with my hamstring issue. And don't worry, they attacked my leg the entire 25 minutes.
Well, how's the hamstring now, though? How is the hamstring now?
The hamstring's great now. And in fact, that particular match is where I wrestled Yaya the Gremlin, which is
yes, I know Yaya. Yes, we'll get.
This is why I'm now on Gremlin House Wrestling. So
I spoke to Yaya. Yes, I know Yaya a little bit through the Brooklyn Prodigies. Yes.
And Yaya knows about the GBYWN and he appreciates the history.
I like Yaya a lot. Yaya's a really nice guy. We spoke quite a bit. He's liked my post. He's followed me on Instagram, and we were speaking. And yep, he's got a show that you're going to be on. Well, I'll definitely get into that in a few minutes. So you got this title, and then you go through all of that, and you finally win it. So was it worth all of what you just told us here? Was it worth it?
I would say 100% absolutely was worth it. And I remember because maybe some wrestlers have gone through this. I've only gone through it maybe like twice, but hearing my music and then in that moment taking 10 ibuprofen, putting it in my mouth and spraying my leg with as much biofreeze as I could. And then when the cue hit, I walked out not knowing if I'd be able to bump. And then having the match you're going to see where not only did I bump, adrenaline is a hell of a drug, let me tell you. There was a lot that happened in that match.
Have you ever felt like this before in your career? Has this ever been, and I mean, you've done a lot. I mean, have you ever had this much pain before or been in this kind of instance?
Just, I would say the only thing worse was that skin issue. There's been times where I've wrestled matches where I wasn't sure if I was okay and I had to take a second. Before I had some, when I got it all corrected medically and everything, one time my blood sugar dropped after I did a suicide dive, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get back into the ring. Luckily, I was fine 10 seconds later, 20 seconds later, and I got right back in, and nobody would have noticed. I guarantee you nobody knows. That happened to me once, and I got that issue resolved. But stuff like that is just part of wrestling. You got to be safe. You got to know what you're doing out there, and you don't want to just completely stop the match, but you also need to worry about you, your opponent, the fans. You got to remember that kind of stuff. So, have I ever been in danger in a moment in a match at any point? No. Have I ever felt scared in a match? Once. And I'll tell you why. I know you'll understand immediately. It was during the GBYWN era. I need you to imagine the scenario, and the footage exists. Okay. I am on somebody's shoulders in an electric chair position. While I'm on his shoulders, somebody right in front of me is on the top rope, and he grabs me and pulls me down, and that's when I got scared because I didn't know how this was going to work or how it was going to land. But this is how the GBYW is all about creativity. This man then jumped off into a Canadian destroyer, and as I flipped, I poison Rana, the man underneath me.
And how are you standing?
Exactly.
How are you standing? I mean, I can visually picture the whole setting, and I'm thinking about it now because there's no like, okay, I'm gonna like cushion my fall, or one of my opponent's gonna at least cushion some of that, and there's none of that there. It's a reversal, and then you're in like, this is why I'm not a wrestler. This is why I'm staying here despite what people may want to see. And I don't know how you're standing. I don't know how the majority of my chat that's here. Yeah, I'm with Castor. Wild move. I mean, it's just to break into the chat for a second. It was a wild move. Let's put it that way. I mean, that was wild.
And don't worry. This is the.
I thought you were going to tell me something about your matches with like Mikey Anarchy. I thought you were going to tell me about like something about when you were in Albany, New York, in a tag match. I thought, but you told me this, and that's like, okay, you know what? Yeah, that's pretty rough. That's definitely.
And my favorite thing to say, and everyone will get mad because they don't know the context, but don't worry, that wasn't the finish.
Oh.
No, there was way more. There's more after that somehow because that wasn't enough. But no.
All right. Well, I'll get to the chat in a few minutes, but I want to ask you one more thing on the GBYW. So obviously, we'll see it on the Golden Triangle Media page. I'm sure Rick will be here one day in 25, and we'll talk about these matches. But being back with everybody, I've seen some of the hype videos. I saw the little things that were posted on there, but. Do you miss the guys already? I mean, I have to ask. I asked Rick this question. Do you think that this will be a thing again? Is this over with? Because you can never fully say that it's the end. I mean, like that experience. You guys had a huge crowd, by the way. Obviously, it was emotional. Different things. There was a tribute package as well. But do you think that this will be a thing again? Like, what's your thoughts now that it's been a few months since it's all happened?
I mean, like I said, the first time I ever wrestled for this title was in 2009. It's only been vacated once. The last man to win it, Henry Rotten, won it in a deathmatch tournament, and we genuinely believed that was the end. I never thought I would be the champion. There was many points where I didn't want to be the champion. I didn't think that was my destiny. That wasn't. It's not like you earn it or you don't earn it. It's more of like, is it the right time? And it never felt like it was the right time until now. And it did feel like the right time. I think everybody in that room, when you see the footage, I am so emotional at the end of that match. I have like a 5-minute promo that nobody told me to do or ask, just because after the match, I was so emotional, and the people in the front row were like, I can't tell you how real everything felt in that last couple minutes of that match. And for me, and I immediately went into a promo about how this was a huge acceptance, not just for me because I'm the champion and I felt like I was representing a group of people that I absolutely love, but that everybody there had so much love for each other. And most of us didn't know if we'd ever see each other again. So up until like 3 months before the show, everyone missed each other, but there was no idea of if something like that would really, really happen. And it did. And that, like, I hope people out there understand that, like, once this era is over for you, it's not really over. There's always going to be a reunion show, or you can always reach out to these people. I know for a fact that since June of 2009, if I ever needed a place to stay, I have 20-30 houses that would take me in tomorrow. And I still, to this day, believe that. And I know that, and I would take them in because I was taken into somebody's house. That's how I got my tag team partner, Papa Bear. I'm not the only person that stayed there. I've stayed at other people's houses, along with guys like Mike Damage, who are also legends in the GBYWN. And for a guy like that to be in the front row saying, "You're the heart and soul of this place," cheering on, and like it was real. It was so real. And
it did look that way. It looked, in the packages, and I just put up the YouTube channel where people can watch some of the footage from the GBYWN and some of the other things, and go definitely hit a sub button for them. But it definitely looked emotional. It looked like that you guys needed to have that moment because it had been so long. And Jovi mentioned it the other day. You guys ended, but there was it just ended. So it was good to at least have that. And I think for you to win the title, it's very fitting because now you've also, which we'll talk about, in a minute or two, is you have the GTS Legendary YouTube Championship. I mean, that's just, to me, what's so ironic of it. Obviously, you win the GTS title later on, but you got a title now, which is obviously in the GBYWN. We know we've talked all about that here for months on Sportswire. And now you've got a championship of a company that's the 7th biggest wrestling company in the world. 1.33 million subs on YouTube. Anything that it does goes viral, and you're the guy. Whether it's no question, it's a different type of wrestling. I don't know if GTS, I probably am more endearing to the GBYWN because I see the true wrestling, the true heart. I mean, but there's no denying what GTS brings to the table. And so many people that come on my platform always say, I was a fan of GTS. Wow, I was a fan of GTS. And you're the guy right now who's the legendary YouTube champion. I mean, got to be an unbelievable accomplishment now to have that championship.
I never thought I would be a heavyweight champion of anything. That was always the goal. Every wrestler should want to be the star of the show, and not in like I'm going to take your spot kind of way, but in I'm going to shine so bright that I'm going to make you want to see me. I have to be must see, and that's exactly what I tried to do in the GBYWN. Although the fan base was the wrestlers, the same thing is for GTS. Obviously, the GBYWN is a very specific style, very specific mindset. GTS, I mean, the fact that I'm the champion there can tell you that they are accepting of all styles and all type of people. I would argue that I'm not the GTS style wrestler, at least not in the modern GTS. But here I am. I'm the champion. I have the ability to wrestle these great matches.
Well, remember, you were the Intercontinental Champion for a huge part of the first part of the year. I mean, you have been an integral part of GTS of late in this era. So, I mean, you're definitely a worthy champion. You're a worthy name. So at least in GTS land, I mean, you're definitely somebody that people, they know and they recognize.
I take a lot of pride in not being like an unknown per se. I don't think that was the case, but to come in as, oh, this guy's different. This guy, like, I'll give you a good example. I'm not cocaine, you know? So Rad Dad Radley Belmont comes in. Oh, this guy's different. But luckily I was different in a good way that, I think GTS has credibility, but I gave extra credibility to GTS.
Well, you gave it that smart fan that really is into wrestling in a way that's not, the GTS follower knows Grimm from his funny videos, the figures, the comedy, the satire, but you do bring in an audience that people know you from the GBYWN. People know the stepdads. People know that your kind of fan is more about your wrestling ability and an audience that's watched you from being a host of a backyard wrestling weekly show to a guy that worked his way up the ladder, who's now going on 9 years of being a pro, who's also wrestled the Rock and Roll Express on his resume to where he is today. So there is that segment of people that have seen you on this journey now for a decade and a half.
Absolutely. You know what? I'm not changing the subject. We'll still talk about GTS for a minute. But if anybody wants to watch my backyard wrestling matches, I believe like 98% of them are all on the same YouTube channel. So if you want to look them up, they're on a channel called BYW versus the World.
I will put that in the chat, and I will I will find it while you're talking.
Every single match I had from, I believe it was late 2008, aired in early 2009, all the way till 2016, because I was already doing pro stuff while doing yard stuff.
I remember from actually interviewing you. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so I did all that kind of stuff, and definitely it helped. You know what? Since we're full screen, I might as well do the big reveal. There we go.
Yeah, I had to take it off because I knew it was coming. I was like, let's get it off the screen. I've been plugging him. He'll want to have the double belts. You are. And again, it's not like, hey, I've got like some title that's just I won somewhere or I found you. Again, the GBYWN, the history, the lineage, and then GTS, legendary YouTube champion. Again, 1.33 million subs. I mean, this is, I've had a lot of people on in my career in all backgrounds. And I think that this is really a monumental moment tonight to have a man that's a champion of not just titles, of a belt that he created in his home fed or a belt that he bought at Walmart or Target or he made it. And, you got titles of companies that have legitimate lineage. And I think that's a testament to your journey and what you've done here over the past 15 years. I really do.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I mean, for people that don't know, and I don't know why you wouldn't, GTS legendary YouTube titles, the unification of 4 championships. Anybody who's held a major title of GTS, that's connected to this. So everyone from the late great Jimmy Rave to I mean, oh my goodness, there's so many. There's a lot of guys. I don't even know where to start. But a lot of those guys, and then the GBYWN, obviously, we've talked about that. So you know what? I'll go on a little rant real quick. I agree with you that not everyone should have a world title. I hear that a lot on here, where guys are talking about, I want to go after a world title, or I want to go after this world title. In the GBYWN, we never called anything a world title except this.
Well, technically, and titles that were someone around the world.
Yeah, exactly. Like we had a World X Division title. Do you want to know why? Because that title was defended in London. We had World Tag Team titles that were also defended in London and in Vancouver. You're seeing a pattern.
In the world, yeah, I got that.
Absolutely. And we had a United States title that I won in Salt Lake City, Utah, and then I lost in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Like, it was a national title. Like, there's nothing wrong with your title being a regional title. I loved when we had GBYWN territories. That's what we called them. It was like the NWA. GBYWN territories. I booked a company called BXW. The
BXW. Yep, I
was
brought up here with Silas Walker. I'm going to have a lot to say on in about 15 minutes. But yeah, that was
absolutely.
brought up.
And a lot of those BXW heavyweight title matches were phenomenal.
Rick brought up BXW quite a bit as well when he was. I know Rick definitely brought it up because I remember we spoke about it in depth.
Right, and that title never was defended outside Pennsylvania. So it was their Pennsylvania title for our community. Didn't mean it wasn't prestigious as all hell, because it definitely was. But we weren't devaluing the world title by saying there's a million world titles out there. Like, you don't have to do that. You don't need to do that. It's perfectly okay to say our championship's the best in the Midwest, the best in the Northeast. Right. That's fine. That's absolutely fine, guys. It doesn't mean you're not a great wrestler, or you're not having matches that people need to see. The BXW title was never defended outside of Pennsylvania, and they had some of the best matches in backyard wrestling history, bar none. That's the legacy. Not you saying you have a world title because your title's been defended in 2 different cities or something. Don't do that. Be real. You want wrestling to feel real? Be real about it.
You know what it is that everybody has to make it more, you have to be hype. You have to hype it up. You have to, make it valued. That's what's,
I get it. Like when I was the GBYWN Intercontinental Champion, I wrestled somebody who had flown in for a little tour from France. You know how hard it is to plan a match with a guy from France? Doesn't know English?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sorry. Sake Blue.
That's the Intercontinental title.
Sake Blue. Au revoir.
No, yeah, I would have said like, oh, croissant or something, but I'd probably racist for it. So but that's the appeal of GTS wrestling, is that we've gotten people from outside the country, and now we're going up to Connecticut. We're going to be touring up there. We're probably going to be touring in other places, and it's awesome that I get to be the champion that is a part of the touring GTS. That's
if you hang on to those titles on January 4th. We're going to get to that in a little while. It's if you hang on to it, because it is a winner take all coming up. I mean, so obviously I'll definitely get into it because I have a lot to say on that. But for now, at the moment, to go into 2025, still to have these 2 titles. I mean, I think that's what people are going to remember and go, wow, Rad. I said it with Gabe. I feel your legacy was cemented, but it's already now, to me, permanently cemented further, because now you're on the run that you really quite hadn't had in your almost 9 years as a pro, because you've got the GTS legendary YouTube title now for over a month, and you got the GBYWN World Championship. And I think that going into 2025, your legacy has been cemented. Now, you're not just a guy that was a backyard wrestling legend that's had, a good career in the Indies. You've definitely had a very solid career in the Indies. You've been a meat and potatoes workman. You've been wrestling regularly to now, like, you're the man. I mean, there's your legacy to me is cemented, honestly.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. The way I got to this level is the fact that I'm always hungry, and I always think that I'm not quite there yet. Mm-hmm. The one thing I always tell people is that I'm not going to stop until I'm at the level of wrestling that me as a teenager would have had no choice but to respect. And am I at that point? I don't know. I don't even think about it.
Wait a minute. You mean to tell me, respectfully, you're a world champion for a company that's got 1.33 million subs. It's the 7th, it's been measured, 7th biggest wrestling company in the world. And on top of that, you're a champion of a company that had some guy Osprey in it and a lineage of 100 companies, and you're not sure if you're satisfied? I mean, sounds like to me, listen, when I was growing up in Brooklyn, we didn't have that much. If somebody would have told me if I was a wrestler and those would have been my accomplishments, I would have said, are you nuts? If I would have told my folks that back in the day, they would have said, what do you do? Is stop being on the street. They would have that's what they would have said. So to me, I'm just hearing that. And I think that this is, how could you not feel that you've accomplished what you would have said as a teenager? I just think, to me, these are things that almost very few people could say they'll ever achieve. Even pros, guys that make it in, Fuego del Sol, for an example. I heard a thing he said on Instagram. He's wrestling Hardcore and Jimmy Controversy. You're going to be on the bill next week with Hardcore in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I was in AEW. I had 9 TV matches. I had maybe 6 other segments, whatever it was. And he was like, I wasn't satisfied. But to me, I would rather be you than Fuego del Sol, because you're the guy that's got a world title of a company with this amount of subs, and you're a world champion of a company that's got 100 companies that counts in their history, and people romanticize about what this GBYWN era was. So to me, I'd rather be you than I'm going to say a Fuego del Sol, who, sure, I was in AEW, but I definitely didn't get rich. You didn't get telling me he was a millionaire off AEW. He's still doing indie stuff. And he even said, I'm in the indies because I got to prove myself again. I got to go work myself to show people that maybe they should have gave me more time because I didn't fight for myself. It sounds like to me that you're doing pretty well.
Absolutely, in that respect. And first of all, Fuego del Sol is so inspirational. I absolutely love it. I love his videos. I love what he's doing, and I think he is destined for bigger things. And that's kind of how I think. I was a very picky teenager. Let me put it that way. But I have always had that kind of drive, and it's like, well, if now. Don't take this the wrong way. I'm saying this as an example. If Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl and was like, "Well, I did it," what else would he have missed out on? If I've done this,
marrying Giselle Bunch.
Yeah. I mean, I did an amazing thing without a doubt. I'm the only man to ever hold these 2 titles.
Yeah.
But do I want to be the guy that just forever talks about how he held these 2 titles at one point and then lost them in Connecticut or something and never got them again? No, I want to be the guy everyone follows me on Twitter knows that every day I post the number of days I've been the champion, because every day is an extra little accomplishment for me. I don't know how long I'm going to be the champion. I want to be the champion as long as possible. I want to have all the records. GTS recently, I called myself the history maker because I'm the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion GTS. I'm the only man to defend the Intercontinental and US titles simultaneously, which I did for a few months as the Double Crown Workhorse champion.
I remember that. You were here around that time. I remember.
And I'll tell you right now, when I won the Intercontinental title for the first time, I said, if this is it, this is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But what else can I do? And if I just stopped with, I was Intercontinental champion, great, awesome, I guess I'll go home now, I wouldn't be able to get all this. And that's
fair point. You're not wrong.
It's just a mindset, and I like to think that in 10, 15 years, whenever I retire, I'll look back and go, wow, you did a lot, man. You did a lot.
I think you're going to go back and have those things. As we hear with Rad Dad, I know the chat's been waiting. I'm going to get to the chat in a minute. I know they've been waiting so patiently, but there's a lot of people here tonight and there's a lot to talk about. But I think you're going to look back. I don't know when. Listen, Jericho's in AEW wrestling still with titles. I mean, there are people that, Billy Gunn looks the same as he did in like 1998. I mean, so we don't know when your career ends, but right now at this moment, going into 2025, you are at a pinnacle that a lot of guys that I just brought up Fuego del Sol as that example, is a guy that basically was like, look, I was in AEW and, I had the 9 televised matches. I had some other segments, but it was disappointing. Whereas you, I know it's not the same, but in a way, I'd rather be you because I was a world champion of companies with lineage and history. And I think that is a testament that, sure, I could be on TV doing something, but if it's not what it was intended to be, you're the guy right now that a lot of people here tonight like to speak to and would like to be. So I'm going to finally let the chat talk to you because they have been waiting all night, and I got to talk about the Brooklyn Prodigies. I got to get through a Chase Wakefield wedding, and I got to talk about Connecticut, which is next weekend. Sean Jovi is here. He's did the woo. He told me he was waiting for this for like weeks, and I believe it. Zilla is here in the chat. How you doing, Zilla? Nice to see you, Zilla. Yes, I saw Zilla in the DBW chat. I see Zilla all the time, and she's usually my first comment. But because Jovi was waiting for this one, even he beat Zilla. So that's a big deal. Zilla loves, likes, respects, and appreciates you. Thank you very much. Chase Wakefield, I'm going to get to him in a little while. I'm going to get to him, although I'll see if he makes his a wedding for sure after what I saw tonight. Speaking of people that know a little bit about the GBYW, my buddy Mr. Ox McCoy, who's certainly making people bleed and using home run derby like bats to his opponents earlier today, would like to say hello. Rad's my daddy. I don't know if that's possible, but never say never. Thank you, Mr. Jovi. And while Mr. Jovi is here, let me give Jovi a little plug because I'm trying to get Jovi to 800 subs, and I think he's at 800. So if you want to give him a sub, 1,000 subs is a hard thing to do. So go out there. I got like 20 people on the YouTube live, but the 20 plus people out there. Do me a favor, go sub to Jovi's page, and you'll see some rad dad points and memories. So there you go. Thank you. Speaking of people, Nicholas Crenton, the RCW champion, enjoying Sportswire and watching Worlds, and at the same time, life is good. The world may end. Apparently, my guest yesterday said the world is going to burn in 2025, so I don't think he's referring to that. But in the meantime, Chase Wakefield says hello to Ox. Speaking of people that I am always excited about, the Evil Angel Judas said this one's going to be great. Get your popcorn. He's one guy that can talk. And if he's saying that, that means you got to be here. And a lot of people did choose tonight to be here. And I thank you so much for that. Thank you for your support. Hello there. Hello to Nicholas Crenton. Who else we got in the chat? Hello, Zilla. We're having a wonderful Saturday. We're here with the legendary Rad Dad Radley Belmont, the GTS legendary YouTube champion, and the GBYWN champion. And I'm going to get to this man. He just wrestled, and it looked like he was injured, but he found a way. I'm going to get to him. I'm going to get to him in a little while because I have something to say about him towards you, but I'm going to hang on tight for that. Hello. Who else we got here? My buddy Hillbilly Tilly, who wrestled in Alabama during the GBYWN days. He wasn't quite in the GBYWN, but he was out there in Alabama. Would like to say he respects you for all you've done for our community, and I definitely agree about that. He is a guy that was around wrestling. He cannot wrestle, unfortunately, anymore, but he was wrestling in your era. He was a guy who wrestled on the ground, the mat, the trampoline. Really, these are the guys that really, I always say, put their blood, sweat, and tears out there. The true yarders. We thank them so much for that. And speaking of people who I was confused about what I saw today, Mr. Austin James was here a couple of weeks ago, and, we praised you. He talked about his stint in GTS and a lot from, I know, EBW. You guys have done some EBW pro stuff together as well. And Austin James is just a really phenomenal wrestler, and I really am glad to see that he got a chance to say hello to you.
I appreciate that. I love that kid, and the fact that we got to wrestle not only at GTS twice, but I've seen him at EBW Pro. It's it's just another part of this crazy thing we call wrestling. Everyone's running into everybody, and I absolutely love that. In fact, I'm not going to change the subject, but I actually have a third championship right now. I am the current what is it? United Wrestling Coalition, because I never say the full thing. United Wrestling Coalition Tag Team Champion with Papa Bear. So we're going into 2020. Yeah, I don't have that belt. They're cleaning it right now. I don't know what happened to it. But
I didn't know that was a thing. You clean belts? I never knew that. What do I know?
Well, it gets damaged. They had the same. They had like this evil faction called.
Hopefully Grimm's War Chest can certainly clean the belts in GTS, right?
Oh, believe me, there's to be honest, he has two of every belt. So
well, Grimm's got Grimm might be the only person that might be able to go pound for pound with my war chest. So, although I think I might have the edge on him, but he's got the subs on me. Let's just put it that way.
There we go.
Well, we appreciate that. I love Austin. I've known him a while, and I was really, we were watching the match that he had in GTS, and it was him. Jacob Cassidy was there, his brother, and a guy, Jay Luther, who's really come a long way this past year and just won a championship here in a company, DBW, that a lot of guys are a part of. And Austin's a great guy, just a phenomenal talent. And, I really think that has not scratched the surface yet. That's just my opinion on him.
Absolutely. And Austin, this is coming from me. At any point you want to come back to GTS, please do. You're always welcome back.
About that. When he was here, he was very, he said, I got to get back there. And it was a very good conversation about that. Speaking of people that are here, the Devil, I'm not going to ask you if the Devil's real, but Nathaniel Rage is in the house, and he's actually wrestling his brother, who's also named Rage, but he is in the house. And he's definitely an interesting guy from the great state of West Virginia, Rocky's Pizza. And if you're out there, go give Nathaniel a sub on YouTube. I just put the YouTube link in the description, so go check him out. So there you go. Hello there. Mr. Wakefield mentioned that. Big DBW on the phone, Sportswire TV. We're going to get to Wakefield. We're going to get to Wakefield. I'm just getting through comments. I got a lot of people to clear off the chat. We'll be back. He was successful in his match. Who else we got? I got to get to this guy here. I don't know if you know the real boss man, Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones has been a guy that's been a huge, huge name. DBW, VTW. He's also in the independents. He's, wrestled the Barbarian. I've seen his work. He was on here earlier in the year, and he'd love to have you in North Carolina. I don't know if you've traveled to do indie work in North Carolina, but Aaron Jones, I would definitely recommend. I can certainly let Mr. Jones know of your information.
Oh, I appreciate that. The only time I've ever been in North Carolina was between flights.
Oh, okay.
So that's about it. But, it's something I said last time. For me, it's not really about the money when it comes to things like that. It's about having an ability to travel out there and the schedule. And that's the main thing. I'm sure a lot of people would like to have me at shows. I'd love to be at shows. But if you don't really have
I have like 20 comments I'm going to get to. Can you wrestle me? I know it's coming. I haven't seen all the comments.
I guess I'll prefix it then for everybody. Like, if you want me at your show, you have to have a plan to get me there. Whether it's a flight, you have somebody that could drive me, things like that. Please don't contact me and say like, oh, we'd like to have you there. Just show up. Oh, by the way, it's 18 hours away.
Yeah,
I can't do those type of trips.
Unless it's like in your neighborhood or something like that.
Right. I used to fly from Vegas for super shows when I was like 21. I can't really do that anymore.
Understood.
I have a full wrestling schedule all the time.
Well, Aaron knows he travels. He knows the scene. I'll give Aaron your information regardless. And Aaron's been doing the indie circuit. He knows. So I'll let Aaron handle that.
Those who know what they're doing, they know what they're doing.
I think Aaron, he's with Mr. Wakefield. He's on the Wakefield Wedding Invitational. He's wrestled on shows with Walker and James. Austin, they can vouch for me in this. Aaron Jones is somebody that if he wants you, he's not just saying, hey, can you be on my show? I think he's got a plan. Ox McCoy would like to say you're a blue version of the Sinister Mitch. You do look a little bit like James Mitchell.
I'm always going for the classic Ric Flair look, but I definitely see that now I'm looking at him. I'm
you have a little
bit of evil in the shadows here.
You do have a little bit of that look. Good catch, Ox. Good catch, Ox. I've waited all week for this. Glad to see you in primetime. Yep. And the last true interview of 2024. That couldn't ask for a better person. YBW's champion Dominic from the great state of Pennsylvania, who's in wrestling tomorrow. He'll be wrestling a guy, Aaron Blaze, who's been a topic in the backyard, and he's here. And don't doubt Dominic. Want to say hello to our friends in Roseburg, Oregon, BTW. They go into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame Monday night, and they're getting ready for their season in Roseburg, Oregon. That'll be coming up on Thursday, so it's 4 days from now. Wow, we're really almost at 2025. It's here and almost there, and if you want to follow BTW, I put it in the link description for the chat, so go out there, give them a sub, and let's see what else we got. I'm not going to lie, I occasionally forget I ran a BYW form too. I didn't know that Jovi ran a BYW.
I'm going to have to talk a little bit about Jovi a little bit later, for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. Crenton said I started it in the Link era. It seems 2004. He started in the Link era because his career in the art was in 2004. Gotcha. BYW rules was my thing. Mm-hmm. I want to say hello to Jackson Law. Hello to Rad Dad. How you doing? Is that a Minecraft tie?
Yes, it is.
Wow. Is there a reason why a Minecraft tie?
I like to be different, and I'm the Rad Dad, so I can be serious, but not that serious.
Okay. You know what? I should never have asked. Congratulations. Yes, we thank Rad Dad. Yep. And the stepdad gimmick is wildly awesome. Yep. Definitely agreed on that.
And very versatile, I'll tell you that.
And that's why, you are where you are. Also, Rad Dad deserves both from one champion to another. Rad Dad deserves both championships. We agree. Hello there. Would love to step in the ring with you sometime. My man, brother, singularly resurrected my love for the IC division. We'll never say never. Anything's possible. Time will tell.
Never say never. I mean, I wrestled people that watched me when they were like 12, and then they wrestled me.
Yeah.
I'll quick thing. I wrestled. So in 2011, my very first Super Show in Pennsylvania, a kid came up to the ring and flipped me off during my entrance. He must have been 7 or 8, right?
Oh, God.
That kid, I wrestled earlier this year.
Oh, my God.
In the match, we stood face to face, and he flipped me off.
But you wouldn't have known that. He had to remind you that, right?
Oh no, I remember because I know his dad. I knew his dad.
Oh,
So
okay. Because I was like, wow.
hey, my son and I are wrestling now. Do you mind wrestling? I'm like, absolutely, let's do it.
Oh, wow.
He came
Okay.
up from Florida to have that match.
And it's not Angel Santiago?
No, no, not this time.
Okay, good enough. It's a very beautiful boat. The GBYWN he's referring to.
Yes.
I am absolutely excited to see the stepdads wrestle at the wedding. It's going to be such a cool moment seeing you guys. I watched as a teenager wrestling on my shows. I can't thank Rad Dad and Papa Bear enough. I agree more. Couldn't agree more with that. We're going to get to that once I get through the chats. Want to say hello to CFL. Good evening, gentlemen. And if you're here, hit the sub button for myself and Rad Dad. We put up his YouTube link in the description. Speaking of people who you gave advice to last time, Ace Reed was coming to America. Gabe this time gave him advice, and Gabe was basically telling him, like, you better be serious. I ain't going to waste my time with you. Let me see what you got. And if you ain't going to be what you are, then I ain't going to waste my time. But he did want to say, though, congratulations on winning the YouTube title. Thank you for that. Ace was here last week in your chair, and that's the YouTube link for your description. Thank you to everybody. Instagram as well. Hit the sub button. My buddy Barry Gutman, the hardcore gamer, who is trying to get to 100 subs. I'll put Barry's link in the description. Barry is a good buddy of mine. I won't bore you with this, Rad Dad, but Barry knows me so long that he actually knows me when I didn't have mutton chops. And I won't put the photo up on the screen because I know we have a lot of people that have to talk to you, but Barry is actually probably one of the few people here in this chat that actually does remember me without hair looking like this and mutton chops like this. Wow. And yep, we go back from the days in the neighborhood in Brooklyn. Yep, the neighborhood. And he's now a YouTube streamer that may one day take over for me. But who never say never. Really excited to see you wrestling the Brooklyn Prodigy soon. I'm going to talk about that when we get through the chat. I definitely want to talk about the Prodigies, and it won't be screwy. Craven Michaels, definitely want to say thank you to him for tuning in. I want to also congratulate me for winning WCE's Commercial of the Year. Thank you very much for that. That's Jovi's Home Fed. I won with like 3/4 of the vote. There was the most total votes in my particular vote compared to the other ones. It was like, but it wasn't like 400 votes. It was like 40 something, and I got like 30. Won a lot of votes, but I have a career in politics. I know how to win. Caster, we spoke about. Who else we got here? GBYWN era has some of the craziest spots I've ever seen in all eras and forms of wrestling. Absolutely agree with that. 1010%.
I gotta throw one in there since it's Jovi. The second time I ever wrestled for this title, I wrestled, like I said, Matt DeMorris and a guy named Murph. And in that match, Matt DeMorris picked me up and in a fireman's carry, and then picked Murph up in a fireman's carry, and then picked up my tag team partner, Eric Douglas, in a fireman's carry. And while all three of us were stacked on his shoulders, he F5'd all three of us.
Well, just wait. This Chase Wakefield guy is literally, he weighs like 10 pounds. And I mean, Matt DeMorris is going to do this like with his one hand, basically.
It's going to be like 3 rotations, I'm telling you.
I can't wait to see that. Yeah, that's and the Murph name I'm going to remember for. So, and there he is, my buddy Copper Dragon. The spot was fantastic. Always good to see Rad. I hope to see Rad. I like to see Copper Dragon back on Sportswire one of these days. We've been talking about it, and I hope Copper as well. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. Thank you, Mr. Dragon, for all your advice, all your insights. We hope Gabe does well, gets better. Aaron Blaze, a name that we spoke about, says hello. There you go. Sup to Copper Dragon. Copper hasn't been in the chat in a while, so you knew it's a big deal. You're here tonight. I told you that people were into this.
I'm honored. I'm honored.
Yep. No. Hello, Copper Dragon. Nice to see you. Who else? All right, we got one here. In 7 days, Rad Dad, you have arguably the biggest match of your career. What's going through? I'm going to talk about that. I am going to talk about that in a little while because I have some things. That's going to be the last topic of the evening. So we're going to definitely get to that. Thank you, Caster. Caster was actually, in my interview with Gabe, he should have interviewed Gabe because he was coming up with question after question. And I'm very high on Caster, by the way. And I'm not high. I don't smoke marijuana, but you should definitely meet Caster next weekend, which you will. Fascinating. I've watched GTS since they began. Unify them. I'm going to get to that. Silas Walker is a topic that I'm going to get to because I have something to say about him and one of your championships. So stay tuned. BYW versus the World has some fantastic content. Everyone should browse that collection. Absolutely agree on that. I will do my best to put the link up here and get it to everybody. I would love to wrestle overseas. A lot of people would. Silas was the one who brought up BXW last appearance on Sportswire. Want to say hello to my buddy Abraham Storm, who was here on Tuesday's show on Christmas Eve. Also, Bethlehem Extreme Wrestling. Yep, that's right. The 2 yard feds I watched back in the day was BWX and NYE. They were my absolute favorite feds to watch. Also, Silas and Chase, Pennsylvania guys, by the way. Just want to let you know also. So they're PA guys. And Aaron Blaze is a PA guy also. So a lot of PA guys in the house right tonight. I've been preaching the same thing about titles for years. Some groups can't let the world go because they get caught up in the vanity of the title. The hype. You have to, it's almost like if you were once upon a time in boxing, right? It was Don King, and Don King had to sell you to go buy the pay-per-view. You got to go out there. And it's the same thing because we have to, hype it up to mean it's the most important and valued thing. And I think that's why we have that saying, and, we're all guilty of it. Hello. I have to say, thank you, Rad. Yep. Thank you, Rad. We love that. Yep, I love like Rad Daly as a heel wrestler more than a babyface wrestler. I don't know. Well, don't give us ideas. Abraham is a huge fan. Sean Jovi's on YouTube. Who else we got? Yep, we got that. Who else I got in here? I can attest to Aaron Jones. He told you. Yeah, I'll connect it. Aaron Jones is actually a superb wrestler. He does put a lot of time in. He's training guys out there, and I would go to bat for him. I've only had him on once, but I know from some of my combos off the air that Aaron Jones would be a guy that I'll take care of it. I'll handle it.
I'll take your word for it.
I will take a 5-star rotation F5 from Matt DeMorris. Don't try me. Shut up and send me that link. Believe it or not, Bryce, I wrestled Rad Dad. When did you wrestle? Rad Dad?
That was in my TF Crew debut.
Oh, that's right. You did wrestle him.
He took the stepdad stunner, and that match kind of led to what's coming up and what we'll be talking about.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that in a few minutes. Yes, we're gonna. I want to get to the TF Crew in a bit, but let me go to the prodigies now because I do have to give you some. But I want to talk about this Yaya the Gremlin. It's a really big show. I had the prodigies on about a month or so ago. I have the poster up. I want to spend a few minutes on it. Tarzan's on the bill, and you got a lot of really big names here in Glock Cluster. It's a very familiar place to me. I spoke with the boys about it. And, tell me, what's it going to be like? I just watched the prodigies wrestle, and I don't know if you've seen guys like them that have, wrestled. And I have no doubt that this is going to be an interesting match. And I'll get to Sick Rick's in here. If I missed a comment, let me know when, and I'll come back to it. But I do want to talk about this because you and Papa Bear are back in action, and talk to me about just being on a bill here, here for New Jack. It's kind of a New Jack tribute in some ways, and some really big names here on the card, and just talk about it for the audience.
So for those who don't know, Gremlin House Wrestling is a brand new company. I believe this is their second show. I could be wrong, could be their third, but I think it's their second. Their last show had Sabu on it. It went viral. Yep. It was an incredible show. I was very excited to get that invite after I defeated Yaya in that gauntlet I mentioned at Matt Pro Wrestling. But if you look at the poster, and I mean, you want to talk about a poster, it sells itself. We got Tarzan Duran taking on Ruckus, and what's most likely going to be the main event, and that is
Mike Goldstein is a name I know very well. I mean,
absolutely.
A photo. How about the FBI, by the way? Oh, some guy Nunzio who I just saw in the EBW Pro Show 2 weeks ago, and I mean, there's some heavy hitters here, some really heavy hitters here on this bill.
Absolutely. And Nunzio can go. I mean, he was on one of the Matt Pro shows we were on recently. He's still going all the time.
By the way, has he not aged? I just watched his segment in EBW Pro. He did a segment, it was 2 weeks ago, and he looked the same. Has he not aged?
I sometimes people just age like wine, He's definitely one of them. Definitely one of them. Yep. Personally, I think it's great that Super Oprah's on this show. I've never been on a show with Super Oprah, and I'm very interested to see that against a GTS wrestler, Mike Goldstein.
Yeah, that's
someone I've defeated in the past, and I keep running into on the indies. So it's really cool to see that. And of course, we're wrestling the Brooklyn Prodigies, a team that we've never wrestled before, and I get really excited to wrestle new tag teams. And I mean new as in first time.
They're a physical team. They're big. Mm-hmm. They definitely are maybe a different type of team, and you and Papa Bear face. Sometimes you face a lot of high flyers or technicians. These guys are like meat and potatoes. Just go out there and fight.
Right. And, I feel like in a lot of ways we're underrated in that. We've had quite a few strong style brawls. Our specialty for a long time was a street fight. We had street fights all the time in lots of different promotions. Even now, our actual specialty is stepladder warfare. If you haven't seen stepladder warfare, go onto the Stepdads Wrestling channel, because every couple of months we have stepladder warfare, which is a fatal 4-way tag team match where stepladders are legal. Every team has a stepladder, and it's as crazy as it sounds. We're used to the tough guys. Do we wrestle a lot of high flyers? Absolutely. Do we wrestle a lot of Southern style wrestlers? Absolutely. We do that a lot. But we used to fight a lot of guys that would just punch, kick, beat you down, and we come back. That's what I'm excited about with this. The fans have never seen this before, obviously, and that's why it's exciting. I think the Brooklyn Prodigies themselves have been looking forward to this.
They spoke about it. They were here with me, like I said, about a month ago. Yeah, just over a month and a half ago. And we spoke about it right when it was announced, and they were really excited about it. They were getting ready kind of for their last few shows of the year. They just won tag team championships in a company, DBW, a little while ago, and they're ready for a big year as well. And they've definitely also they've been in Pro Wrestling Venom. They've done a lot of different places, and they've been an accomplished tag team. And I think it's going to be a really, really cool match to see. I think two of the more accomplished tag teams in our circuit here in the New Jersey area or so over these past 4 or 5 years, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So a match that I think a lot of people are going to be really excited to see in Gloucester coming up.
It's really funny because for many years we never wrestled New Jersey, despite I'm living in New Jersey right now. We didn't get booked by any of these New Jersey places because they have a lot of territory wars and things like that. Papa Bear and I don't deal with drama. We don't get into locker room stuff like that. We just go and perform. And so we were wrestling in Massachusetts, upstate New York a lot. Pennsylvania a lot, never in Jersey. And so we never ran into them, not in the Staten Island area, New Jersey area.
You did Warriors of Wrestling, that I know.
Yeah, we wrestled for Warriors of Wrestling at the beginning of our careers. And that was it. Yeah. So, this is one of those things where I didn't know if it was ever going to happen. Luckily, Gremlin House Wrestling wants to have new product, new matches, fresh faces. So
I spoke with Yar about this. We had really great conversation about what he's trying to offer something I think really different, which I think is going to do really well, to be honest.
I don't think it's speaking out of turn when I say a lot of New Jersey wrestling companies just use the same wrestlers all the time. And that's fine if you like the wrestlers, but there's a lot of phenomenal wrestlers, so you get to see a lot of great matches.
But I don't get to see something. I've said this many times over the years, in the UK especially. I want to see different. Give me variety. I want to see people square off that are different. I want to see matches that maybe I'm following people on social media that I'd like to see something that it attracts. It's a win-win for everybody. I never understand the indie mindset that we got to have the same matches and maybe we'll make it sort of different, but we'll do the same people. To me, I think you got to give people variety. If I keep having Pepsi every day, I'm going to want to have something else. To me, that's kind of how I look at it almost.
Right. And for a long time, we wrestled for Legacy is Timeless Wrestling, Lit Wrestling, because in Connecticut, a lot of the wrestling companies are also being filled with the same people now, and they are incredible wrestlers, but that Lit wanted to do something different. And so we seem to be the kings of like the different company. So we got hired there, and now we're working for TF Crew because, Gabe wanted to bring in guys that not everyone sees all the time that don't get the opportunities. Here I am as a single star getting the opportunity. I'm the alternate. Apparently, I'm the alternative. I'm the alternative of wrestling, apparently.
Well, I mean, Gabe did say that a little bit, but it's good to see you go back to the basics here a little bit for this show, at least, And again, some really great talent. I mean, you talk about variety, like you said. Mike Goldstein. A lot of people know from GTS. I mean, the FBI. I mean, boy, and one of the other members of FBI Zach Clayton just did a huge stint in AEW, and he's engaged to some person named JWoww. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people know who that is, and I'm sure he gets asked a lot about that. You got Super Oprah on here. I mean, you got Tarzan. I've interviewed Tarzan. I don't need to tell anybody about Tarzan. He was here on Sportzwire. It was an interesting conversation. The product, just some really, it's a banger of a show. I mean, I just can't say enough about how excited I am to see this show coming up here. And it's 2 weekends from now. It's 2 weekends from now in Gloucester. And the doors open at 5 o'clock, and it's, I'm excited for this. This is just going to be a banger of a show. I think Yaya's got the right mindset. They've been in only for a couple shows. The Prodigy spoke about Sabu and the impact of that on the last show, and they were really excited about it. And I think it's going to be great to see you and Papa Bear in action in a match that's really, at least for my platform, kind of a dream match, because I've talked a lot about the Prodigies over the year. Jimmy Controversy has praised the Prodigies every time he's here. Gabe loves them. I just had the Stompers on, who some of the people in my chat know, and they're super tight with the Prodigies. So a lot of my platform knows the Prodigies, and to quote their song, I definitely don't think this match will get screwy, but definitely I'm looking forward to the card, and I just think it's going to be a great start to 2025 for sure here with this match here as a part of the New Jack City Slam.
I can say that Jimmy Controversy to my face has put over how great the Prodigy.
He said it here. He said it to me on and off here. I've had Jimmy 5 times. All he does is praise me.
We haven't spoken about it, but this is the New Jack City Slam with the New Jack Rumble.
Yep.
My only connection with New Jack was that I was there the night for the Low Life Louie benefit show when he had to get some money for surgery, I believe it was. And I was there that night, and New Jack was in the main event. And New Jack, apparently, I don't remember the exact amount of days. It was like 72 days or something where he was hospitalized. Man was hospitalized for at least 2+ months. And then the day he got out of the hospital, like the morning after, he went and wrestled this 3-way death match in the main event. And I'll tell you right now, with no shame, he is the only pro wrestler I've ever walked up to, and I shook his hand and went, "Hello, sir."
Well, with him, you don't know if he would beat you up and give you a mass transit incident.
But I'll tell you, he couldn't have been nicer that day. And just to tell you the kind of guy he was when he was in that respectful mode. And at the end of the show, remember I told you he's the main event in a death match. When the show ended, this was at the H2O facility in South Jersey.
Yes,
he walked over to the exit door and shook the hands of every single fan that left the building, thanking them for putting the money in for Low Life Louie. I mean, everyone knows about New Jack, but to me, that's my own personal experience with him, and that is the utmost class act. So if I'm representing that New Jack, the New Jack I saw that day, I could not be more honored to do so at this New Jack City Slam. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, I'm going to say my memories on him is that he's an ECW legend. He's a wrestling legend, and we should all support this event here, which we can do by going right here to Instagram, and it's very simple. All we have to do is you can go a couple places. First, you want to go to Yaya the Gremlins page. I'll put that up on Instagram, number 1. I'm going to put up the Gremlin page right here as well. That's number 2. So I'm going to go right here. All you have to do, if you want to buy a ticket, you want to go out there and support the show, very simple. Get in touch. The Prodigies are featured on here. The Stepdads are featured on here. It's an awesome bill. I'm excited about it. January 11th is already 2 weeks away from now. It's less than that now, and it's really exciting to see. And obviously, here we go with the Stepdads making their debut here, and the doors open 5 o'clock, bell time 6 o'clock. So it's great because it's not too early, not too late. You want to go out and spend time with the family. You want to go out and have dinner afterwards. Watch the show. I tell you, it's going to
be worth it. Some great names, and the best is definitely yet to come. And I can't wait. And I'm sure the Prodigies will have a lot to say about this as well when they come back onto Sportswire Radio. Let me get to some of the chat before I get to Mr. Wakefield. I still don't know where did I miss the comment from Rick. I don't see Rick's comment. If Rick wants to come back and say something, I don't know where else did I miss a comment from him. But happens to all of us. Thank you. Let's see. Sick Rick. What else we got? It's a banger of a card. Couldn't agree with you more. Chase has been talking about the wedding, which we're going to get to next, and I think we're going to do that right now, actually. So, obviously, Chase Wakefield, was a big topic here on this platform. He has now become a regular. He's here every month, and he's always got an announcement. And, one of his announcements recently was a match. It involves you and Papa Bear. Going to be in action, and it's the Bad Sons versus the Stepdads. Yes, it's the Bad Sons versus the Stepdads, and I'm going to put that poster up because Chase Wakefield has become now one of my guys and one of my regulars. And although Mr. Fallon's Walker, I'll get to next, may not agree with this, but we're going to put the match up here right now because I'm excited to get your opinions on this. And so, tell us what you can expect against the Bad Sons. When they get out of line, are you going to bring out the paper again and hit him over with it again? Or are we going to go back to the old days with this or what? I mean, Ecstatic and Tyler Aiken, and obviously it's going to be a match that I think will be a really intriguing matchup. And they've been wanting this match for a long time. Chase spoke about it, how they've been big fans of yours and Papa Bears, and they're getting this match. And I can't wait to see the Stepdads and the Bad Sons at Chase Wakefield's Wedding Invitational. Should he survive and make it to August? But in the meantime, tell us what we can expect here.
Well, the big thing to me is Papa Bear and I, like I said, we only wrestled maybe once a month most of the year. Now we're back on track. We have the tag team titles in New Egypt, Pennsylvania, or New Jersey with the UWC. We're wrestling a lot more often now as a team. And so we're back on the same page. Not that we weren't, but, when you have a lot of reps with your tag team partner, things get even better. So I feel like we are possibly the best we've ever been. I would say we are the best we've ever been. I don't like to be egotistical about it, but we're at the top of our game right now. And that comes with all the tricks of the trade. And I think we're at our best when we are doing our tricks. Like I said, we can brawl with the best of them, but we're also stepdads. We're wrestling stepdads, and that makes us a unique style of wrestling at times. And that makes me very excited for this. And when I initially heard about this invitational, this wedding invitational, not only is it really awesome to be a part of a wedding in any capacity. I've been a part of many, many wrestling weddings in the past, but not a wrestling.
Oh, wow. So you've been a part of one.
Not a wrestling wedding show, though.
Okay.
Let me tell you, I've been a part of many wrestlers' weddings. Doing wacky things, entrance music, all that kind of stuff. But the idea of this actually being a wrestling show, the possibilities were endless, and I was very excited about that. I was like, is it going to be a tag team thing? Am I going to be defending the GBYWN title if I still have it? Who am I going to be wrestling?
Well, I'm going to get to that, though, in a few minutes, but go ahead.
Yes, and that's the thing. We don't know, but I was curious because it could have been anything, could have been anyone. And then I find out it's the Bad Sons. Not only do I find out it's the Bad Sons, two guys that had a great singles runs and things like that, but now we're teaming up once again because they wanted to wrestle us. It's always been a big thing. Like, I don't know, man. You know how I am. I'm always shocked and I don't know if bewildered is the right word, but I'm always surprised when people say oh, they really want to wrestle you.
No, guys do come on here all the time, and they always say, Rad. I mean, people are really since you started coming on here about 8 or 9 months ago, people are they always want to talk about you. You're always a topic on Sportswire, to be honest. You have been a regular topic, and, I don't know Ecstatic and Tyler that well. I mean, I think them here and there in the chat, but I can tell you from Chase that these guys have been fans of your work for a long time, and it's a big deal for them. And it's going to be, I think, a really, really highly anticipated match. And I'm really excited about this card, by the way, because I think Chase Wakefield, he wants to make history. He wants this to be, and you've been a part of a lot of history, a lot of great things. He wants this to be the greatest wrestling super show in history. That's his goal.
And I've seen the card, and that's the great thing about these type of shows is that there's so much potential here, and when everyone wants it to be one of, if not the greatest show of all time, that elevates it to a whole nother level. It's like I said, I could just settle down with these titles and be like, I'm good. But when you always want more, when you want the best, it brings out the best in everybody from the top down. And when Chase talks about having the best show ever, it makes me want to have the best match I can possibly have. Like,
he's put a lot of work in. I gotta tell you, he's been here every month, and I feel like every time he's here, he raises the bar. He's always talking to me about different things, and like he's become a guest that's highly anticipated here. He was here last time. We had like 20-something people on YouTube. People were waiting. It was like here tonight. He comes on here. He's bigger and bigger every time here. I mean, I think he has more people here that want to talk to him than what he weighs in real life. I mean, it's kind of like funny. You'll get the joke when you meet him in person, but like, I mean, it's to me like he's really putting a lot of effort into it. And the funny thing is, Rad, that his wife seems to be, or soon to be wife, or if he makes it, seems to be more supportive about this and wants it more than he does.
And that is, I mean, bless her. Let me tell you.
That's what I said.
I mean, my girl, luckily, she is an artist, so she understands that this is how I express myself. So she supports me immensely in a way that not everyone in my life has, but that's what. It helps elevate me. It helps push me. And I'm sure she is a huge part of what's pushing him to make this an incredible event. And when I look at this card, and I'll even say, I'm looking at my match right now. So many shows I've had where they just say, here's a tag team match. And this is not just a tag team match. It literally says dream match. And now I want to give a dream match to these people.
And these guys I'm telling you, I mean, I know we spoke about the Prodigies, but this match, I do think, is going to be a dream match. I do think that is going to be more than living up to what hype and expectations are with it, because these guys can wrestle. These guys are like right up, they're tailor-made opponents. It's not even like, okay, let's find a tag team for the Stepdads Wrestler. I'm telling you, these guys on the screen who you're going to meet, they're tailored for you and Papa Bear. Tailored.
And I'm telling you, I thrive on hype. I love hype. When I won this championship, the GBYWN Legendary YouTube Championship inside a steel cage, it was the last match of Tanner Wilson, formerly Ryan Ragnarok. It was his retirement match. And to say that we went over 30 minutes in that cage, I wanted him to have the absolute best match possible. And I mean, according to him, not me, according to him, he said it was the best match of his career. And I walked out with the belt. Like, that means so much to me, to have that kind of pressure and then to deliver. And that's what I did with the GBYWN World title. I wasn't even sure if I could bump. I legitimately walked into the ring during my entrance not knowing if I'd get up.
You had the skin bumps, and you had the outcome was like, oh my God, it was almost like a movie what happened with you.
Yeah, I take to my so not to make a big story. My grandfather was pronounced dead 4 times before he was 21 because he was a boxer and a bull rider. And my dad was a second-degree black belt who fought Hell's Angels in LA for fun. So for me, just doing things and just moving forward is kind of built in.
I'm glad I didn't go to your house and pick a fight with your granddad.
Watching them argue back and forth was
wow.
Like, I'll tell you that.
Wow. I mean, I'm really excited about this show, and I really am, because Chase has put so much work into it, and we see, Matt DeMorris and Mr. Wakefield, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime. I don't even still know how Wakefield pulled this one off. This was one that we were talking about, but I got to go with this guy. There's a reason why, and I want to say it now, because there's a guy here, pay attention to him. His name is Silas Walker. Now, this guy, Silas Walker, he's legendary. He's had a legendary run, and I wasn't going to say it, but I'm going to say it here live, because this guy the last 5 or 6 months, I've been watching his ring work. I've been seeing what he's done. I've seen how he's transformed his character to the detriment of Mr. Wakefield's, and Mr. Wakefield and him have a little thing in their home company. But this guy, Silas Walker, now, I don't know how this will happen, but I will do what I could. Now, we'll obviously see what happens in Connecticut next week, but if there's ever a guy in 2025 that you should defend that GBYWN championship for, it's that guy, Silas Walker. I'm telling you, I watch what this guy does in the ring. I'm telling you, I watch his moveset. I'm telling you, I watch how he conducts himself, how he talks. You want to talk about a competitor, you always talk about challenges, you always talk about doing different things. This guy, Silas Walker, even if it's not for the GBYWN championship, now Mr. Wakefield has said that there'll be a night 2, and since Mr. Wakefield is obviously, he got himself a match with Matt DeMorris, and I'm sure that we're all going to talk about that a lot the next several months, but since there is a night 2, and if you are there, if you're looking for an opponent, I'm going to just say it right now. Silas Walker is definitely that man. And if it doesn't happen here, I will do anything humanly possible to see you wrestle Silas Walker. Trust me on that. Trust me, it'll be legendary.
I hear you. I trust your word. Your word is as good as gold, Bryce.
Yeah, well, that's a guy that I'm just saying pay attention to. And also to boot, Jovi, we spoke about it on the show when he was here. We'll try to find a way for him, at the very least, to see you if you're here at this show. And it seems like you're going to be a huge part of it. And Jovi seemed like he was on board with it. So maybe you and Jovi will reunite one more time. That's, a bucket list thing for Mr. Jovi. Jovi's been talking about creating his own show, and maybe Jovi comes here, and I want to see Jovi with you one more time in some form or another. And I'm going to also do everything I can in my humanly power possible to see, you and Mr. Jovi time.
I love Sean so much. He's such an awesome guy. The first time I met him in person, I believe, was the first time I wrestled him, and that was in 2009 when I defended the GBYWN United States Championship. I believe it was Anderson, Indiana, and that title is now unified with this one. But I got to have that match with him, and I know he said it. He was super green. He was still learning his way in wrestling, and so was I. I was a little higher, obviously. I was the United States champion. I had a couple super shows under my belt, but we had so much potential that was still not kept yet. And so here we are all these years later. I had my run with the GBYWN. Things tempered out. I went to the Indies, and then Jovi has this renaissance. And by the way, Sean Jovi, former GBYWN World Pure Champion.
Yes.
That title was defended against Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay did not win the title that night. I believe Sam Jude retained it, but Sean Jovi won it. So, I don't know why he doesn't bring that up. He has.
That's a great thing because Jovi's here like every other week. I don't know why Jovi didn't bring that up. Jovi, who I would think of all people would bring that up. And Jovi, he's always here, Jovi.
Maybe he didn't know, but I knew that because soon after that, Sam Jude flew out to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and I was able to win the championship there. But yeah, to us, he was just good old Ace Payne having a GBYWN Pure Rules title match, and now he's Will Ospreay being Will Ospreay. So
wow, and that's that. I really want Jovi to be here for this. I really do. I've spoken to Jovi about it. We spoke about it on Christmas, and Jovi seemed like it was something he was interested in. I would love to see him here for this. Silas Walker is a guy I'm telling you, it'll be a legendary match between you and him. And Jovi said his memory is bad, by the way. His memory is bad.
That's okay. I'll remind him. But at the same time, I can't make any announcements or anything. Obviously,
Obvious.
The title match is coming up soon. But
Yep.
2025. I mean, I hope it's not in 2026. I'd like it to be next year. I do want to go somewhere, be somewhere, and wrestle Sean Jovi because he's done so much for this new community.
He has. He was the first BYW wrestler I interviewed. I was just doing mostly British wrestling. I did some stuff with the indie wrestling. He was the first one that came on here 2.5 years ago. So Sean Jovi, I will go to bat for. So even if I would love to see it happen here if the stars align. I'll make it happen. I will make it happen. I will make it happen. I really believe that Jovi deserves that opportunity to get one more with you. I do believe in that. I believe what Jovi's done. He's one of those guys that people love because just of who he is, his personality, and he's just larger than life, and he's just a good human being, and he eats, sleeps, drinks BYW and underground wrestling. That's why I want to give him a moment. I want to let him have that opportunity to wrestle you, and I will make sure that I will do it. I will stress that enough. I will make that happen, and yes, I will make that happen. I will make that happen for Mr. Walker because I spoke to Mr. Walker, and he gave me his full-throttled endorsement. He said, whatever you want to say to make that happen with Rad Dad, he said, Tom, I know you're going to do it. So, and I'm going to make sure. I want Walker to get a match with you. I'm telling you, Walker, I got faith in Walker and I got faith in Jovi. Didn't realize Ospreay wrestled for it. Makes me feel special. DM me. Yeah, I don't know if Jovi's friends with you on Facebook, but I'll take care of that. We're off the air. Sounds good. Y'all take care of that. Also, Mr. Wakefield wanted to say the show will be on YouTube as well. For each match, we'll have videos. Yep. A poster that'll be signed by everyone. The card will be a giveaway prize. Yes, Matt DeMorris, the stepdads, Mike Damage, many more. Aaron Jones, by the way, who wanted to have you in North Carolina, is on this show. We got guys like D'Angelo LaFlame, who's obviously been a well-talked-about name here in the past. We got Dan Stofko, a lot of guys. Andrew Lovelace, some guy, Justin Parsley, who's the hall monitor of Sportswire Radio. He's not going to wrestle, but apparently he's attending. It's a long story. Brandon Costelli, Mr. Judgment. It's a great list of people. It's a long list of them. We just answered that. Thank you, Judas. And we'll definitely take care of all of that. And go follow Chase here on Instagram. Definitely my endorsement. I want Mr. Wakefield to have that. But before I talk about the last topic, the topic I am very excited about, I do have a prize here. I know it's not a championship belt, but I do have something for you because you've been very patient throughout this evening. If I don't give you something in the spirit of the holidays, no, I'm good. Trust me. I realize it's not a Sportswire championship, but it's actually a guy in Australia that has that. But he made it. He made the belt and said, "I'm going to call it the Sportswire title." I was like, "Yeah, no problem." But I do have something for you.
You for a hot minute before this was the reason this became a real title is because somebody had the GBYWN championship in like California somewhere, and we were like, we can't just have some random guy do that.
No, the guy is actually not. He's actually his name's Yoshi Matsuri. He's a very well-known rapper. He has a big head. He has a wrestling company. He's a sponsor. I'm a part of it. No, he's not random at all. He's
actually the reason we ended up with this because we had to get rid of whatever that lineage was, that random guy in California. So the first champion was Matt Nix, who wrestled Cody Rhodes on Dynamite.
I know Matt Nix, yes. And Zilla wants to wrestle you one day, but Zilla, you got to get to training. But Rad Dad, it's your day today. I know we've done this before, but I did give the TF Crew a day next week, so you technically get 2 days because it's for the Unhinged Rumble. It's TF Crew Day next week, and I gave that to Gabe already, but you have to ask Gabe about that. But I'll give this to you off the air, but it is Rad Dad Day, so thank you, Rad, for being with us here once again. I really appreciate everything you've done for us, and just being here on a Saturday night and talking with all of us. So it's your day, and congratulations. And also, I think it's cool that you're the last official interview here. And the Heartless Sheriff has left the chat. Thank you, Heartless Sheriff. I don't know who the Heartless Sheriff is yet, but I hope you hit the sub for us. Was there anything you wanted to ask, Rad? Anything you wanted to say? Let us know. And I still don't know what comment I missed from Sick Rick. If Sick Rick wants to let me know, I'll come back to that. But thank you, Rad. I appreciate all that you do for us, and I'll give this to you when we're off the air. But I have certainly saved, I think, the most important topic for last because I am sponsoring the show. I am donating already one, and I'll be donating a second ticket to it before next Saturday. It's your winner takes all. It's winner takes all. You may for now have the GTS Legendary and GBYWN World Championship, but if you have your way, you could be adding the TF Crew YouTube Championship to your arsenal, and you're going to be wrestling a man in the Puerto Rican Prince, Angel Santiago, a man that is certainly, I know you've crossed paths with in GTS, you've seen him around, but now you're getting him. I've seen the war of words here for weeks. It's the main event of the Unhinged Rumble. And tell us now, I said a lot, Gabe said a lot, and just what can we expect here coming up next Saturday? And I have said, by the way, Rad Dad, that I very well think that this could be one of the biggest matches of the entire year because it's a winner takes all, it's legacies on the line, and it's the first show of the year practically. This is the first show of the year in the Underground, and you're going up against a guy in Angel Santiago. It's winner takes all, and tell us now, what can we expect?
So this will be the first, obviously, TF Crew show of the year. It's going to be my first match of the year, and lately, I feel like almost every match I'm having is my new biggest match of my singles career. Getting the multiple shots against this in the summer, finally winning it inside the steel cage, the GBYWN title at the reunion show. Like every single thing is like bigger. How do you get any bigger than everything, you know? And now I have both titles. There's no like bubble between companies or anything for this. I get to hold both championships on camera as a double world champion. And for this to be recognized as a triple world title match, I mean, you can say other matches have the potential to be bigger because of the respect or because it's your favorite wrestler or the history behind whatever match you're looking forward to. I mean, we're looking at cold hard facts. We have 3 championships from 3 completely different parts of the wrestling world.
Correct.
And the story to even get to this is insane because I told Gabe Sayers that I was more than willing to defend the GBYWN World title at TF Crew if I was going to win it. And for people who don't know, obviously this title's been all around the world, legitimately taken on planes around the world, has never been defended in front of a live paying crowd. This is the first time. And so I asked him, I said, if I get the belt, I want to defend it. I don't want to just defend it once a year at reunion shows. I want to show people what this belt was all about. And Gabe was all for it, but he said, I don't know. I got to find a contender. We got to figure things out. And my first match at TF Crew, I got to wrestle Laurinaitis and Caster.
Yep.
I win the triple threat match. Stepdad Stunner 1, 2, 3. The crowd loved it. And it turned into me becoming the top contender for this TF Crew World YouTube Championship. And ironically enough, Puerto Rican Prince defending this title against all these newcomers, all these up-and-comers.
He's defended it in different states, too. You know, he's been a part of celebrity boxing. He's been a part of GTS, Pro Wrestling Venom. I mean, he took the TF Crew brand from a company that was just kind of a figment of people's imaginations to where it's in venues. There's going to be a sold-out crowd next weekend. Obviously, I'm sponsoring it. You're going to have a Hardcore and Doc Holliday in a match. You know, Grimm's going to be there. We talked about the GTS part of the show. And, I mean, like, this is a big deal. And I've said it, and even Gabe had to agree reluctantly. Angel's been the guy at the helm. He's been champion here for over a year, and he's defended it against guys like Obey, and he's defended it against guys like Mikey Anarchy, and he's gotten through all these challengers. And I don't know if you faced somebody like an Angel Santiago.
I can honestly say I have not faced somebody like Angel Santiago, but that excites me because I want to wrestle people of all styles, all backgrounds, all champions of all lineages. And this guy, he's been going up to Connecticut, down to Florida, defending the title in rings on the ground. You know, I've never defended the GBYWN title on the ground. I've defended it inside the steel cage. I've defended it. I've wrestled it.
I think you'll be defending on the ground next weekend, Rad. Don't worry about it. I think you'll put you in the ring.
But it shows the dedication he has, and for it to be a true underground title, he's taking it to these insane limits.
Yep.
No limits really, and that's something it grows my excitement because now he wanted both championships on the line to have this match. He refused. I don't know if you know that. He refused to defend the title against me unless I put both titles on the line because I guess
I saw the Instagram. Yep, I saw the Instagram thing, the back and forth.
I was willing to put this on the line. He wanted both. So he almost jeopardized this championship match just because he.
Well, he doesn't really, because I think he's kind of in his own bubble. I said it here on this platform. Angel's a guy that kind of gets slept on here with like my listeners or followers because he's not into coming on here, and he's not a guy that is going to sit here and really go back and forth with the chat. He's a guy that he's just interested in beating people up. He's interested in just having gold and looking good, and the warm weather, and that's just who he is. So he gets slept on, I think, because again, he's a guy that really doesn't have what others that come on here because he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to be here. That's really why I think that this match is so exciting to me, because also I think in a way, whether he admits it or not, I think that this is about his legacy as well, because I know, yes, you're getting the singles run finally. I know we're talking about everybody now wanting to wrestle you, but I look at it as far as I'm concerned, you've won the GTS Legendary YouTube title. You've got the GBYWN World title. And, okay, if you don't win this match, you've been a world champion now. You're getting the run. But Angel, if he beats you next Saturday, his legacy cemented permanently, and he'll be a guy that's just getting started. He's just getting started, relatively speaking, in his career. And to me, this is almost like if you were to see in basketball, if you got a chance to see LeBron James versus Michael Jordan in our circuit, you would have loved to have seen it. If you would have loved to have seen Tom Brady and Joe Montana score off in football, to me right now in the underground circuit, right now, this is our opportunity. This is our opportunity. Everybody talked about we didn't get to see Hogan and Stone Cold Steve Austin wrestle. Well, for our circuit right now, for my money at least, what Angel Santiago has done for the past almost year and a half as the TF Crew YouTube champion, what you've done in your career, and now what you've got right now currently in the GTS Legendary YouTube Championship and the GBYWN World title, this is a legacy match. Simply put, it's a legacy match here next weekend.
Absolutely. No matter what happens, it's going to be a huge moment for all three of these championships. It's going to show that they're all in an equal playing field, and that whoever walks out is the champion of YouTube wrestling. I can't stress that enough. You could say the champion of the underground, the champion of the backyard. Definitely the champion of YouTube wrestling, in my opinion.
It's a good point.
Man, it really bothers me because I don't look down on people like Angel Santiago. The man has the TF Crew World YouTube Championship for a reason. I watched that podcast with Gabe Sayers, and it was like he was grinding his teeth trying to say any compliment about Angel.
Yeah, I was like, I've had Angel on a few times, and I really respect and I appreciate what he does in the ring. I've watched some of his stuff outside of TF Crew. I've seen what he's done and what he's done to train. I feel what he did for YouTube wrestling, to go out there and put his name out there for celebrity boxing. I really respect the hell out of him. I know that when he's come on here, guys from my platform and other feds look at him and they go, Angel Santiago, they're not as invested in him for really reasons. They're just not invested in him because he does things the way he wants to, and he doesn't really care. And Gabe Gabe, but you have to remember, this even predates you. Gabe has been trying to get the YouTube title off Angel Santiago pretty much since the minute he won it.
Oh, yeah. I watched the battle between Angel and Mikey Anarchy.
Yep.
I was there that night. The dog collar match. That was insane. That was absolutely insane. I will say this. A lot of those guys have a personal issue with Angel Santiago. He rubbed them the wrong way. We all seen the videos. We've seen the Unhinged episodes. He's in their heads. That's why they don't like him. I don't have a personal connection to Angel Santiago at all. This isn't a battle where I hate him or he hates me. It's not about him. It's about me. And for him, it's about him. I want to beat him to show that I am the best, not because.
But there's a lot on the line with it. But to think about, right? 3 championships, a winner takes all.
And that's and
the lineage.
I think this is the big difference.
Okay.
I will not underestimate Angel Santiago, and I might be the only challenger he's ever had that won't do that.
Yeah, because I had Obey on here, and he kind of laughed. I had Obey when he was on here. Mikey I've interviewed, and Mikey was kind of like, I'll break him like a twig, I think was his line. So, yeah, guys have come on here that have been in the ring with him have underestimated him. And I think that...
I can honestly say I've never been in the ring with him, but I've watched him wrestle at GTS. I
was going to say.
There ringside for his TF Crew defense at Death Row. I mean, I've seen him. I absolutely respect him as their champion. He is phenomenal as a wrestler. But as a person, I think that's where the weakness lies. Because for him, he wanted me to have these titles in order to step up to him. And I think this ties in perfectly with what you were saying earlier about me. He already thinks he's at the pinnacle. Now, he's definitely at the pinnacle of the TF Crew, and he's arguably the champion or a top champion equal to this on YouTube. But for me, I'm so hungry, man. I still don't think I'm there. I'm so hungry to get more titles and to be definitively the top champion in YouTube wrestling. And for him, he sees this as 2 number 1 contender titles to get to him. He's not as hungry as me.
Well, he doesn't, the history of it, you've been in this game a long time. And for him, this don't matter. For you, I mean, in one sense, now that I'm hearing your side of the story, TF Crew's got 2,000 plus subs, big following. Obviously, we do live shows twice a year. They sell out. You got GBYWN. Guys up and down know that. And then you're also the champion of the 7th biggest company in the world. So for you, I mean, and I think that's where I'm sure Gabe, as a businessman and an owner of the TF Crew, he would most certainly prefer you to be the champion because of your name, your promoting, and what you would do for the company to unite and unify those titles. Whereas if Angel, from his vantage point, is looking at it like it was tough, like you said, it was gritting teeth for him to admit the fact that Angel did help grow the TF Crew brand. But you certainly, I mean, I think he's going to want, just because of the promotion, because of your name, your recognition, the weight you carry, he's going to most certainly hope next Saturday in the PAPW facility that you're going to walk away with the TF Crew YouTube Championship and be the triple champion and be maybe the greatest belt collector since Kenny Omega, and at least the greatest belt collector in YouTube history. I mean, think about it. You win next week, and you're the greatest YouTube champion in history. Nobody, guys have said, I was champion 700 days. I was champion. No, you, from the feds that you would represent, and the history, the lineage, the subs, the views, the companies, the names that have been there, the live venues selling out, you would be next Saturday, what is on the line. You have the opportunity to be the greatest YouTube champion in history.
I could not agree more. I think you've nailed it right on the head. And that's the difference between Angel Santiago and me. I look at this almost as a challenger. I want to win the title of the greatest champion in YouTube wrestling history. And for Angel Santiago, it's another TF Crew title defense. I don't see it that way. And if he has a different perspective, I haven't heard it yet.
I don't think he needs to. I think from his vantage point, it doesn't matter as much. I think that he's looking at it like, well, I've beat everybody else. I'm going to go out there and do what I do best. But do you also worry? He has some friends out there. He does have, some people that, how do you contend with that?
I have thought about that. He has quite a crew. It's not just a bunch of goons. He's got some real threats out there. But the fun part about this Unhinged Rumble...
He's got a syndicate, if I'm not mistaken. He's got a syndicate of friends of his that might tip the scales. Obey and Anarchy had to deal with that. How do you deal with it?
Well, here's the difference. Obey and Anarchy didn't have GTS there that day. In the Unhinged Rumble, GTS will be there. And my tag team partner, Jungle Jim Wilder, will be there. Do you think GTS roster wants to see this go to Angel Santiago? That's not going to happen. Now, do I want their help? No. But is this going to be a fair fight? Absolutely, positively.
I hadn't thought of that because Angel in GTS wasn't necessarily. He wasn't very successful.
When I say anything can happen at GTS, that means anywhere GTS goes as well, including the TF.
Wow, that's it. And you know what? So you may have the numbers game. If you say that, so you don't think he'll try any tricks? Then there'll be no shenanigans. You think?
I always believe in fair, honorable wrestling because I think in an honorable match, I will always win. That's how it's been. You can look at any match I've had where there's no interference. I've always won. The triple threat match at TF Crew, I won. I'll do it again.
If Santiago's man enough, he'll do the same thing. If he's really just about beating you, then he wouldn't have his friends help you either. Then, right?
I think Angel Santiago is a victim of overcompensation. Is he great? Absolutely. But he also is desperate to stay in that great position. And he overcompensates with all this extra stuff. Honestly, I don't even think he needs it. He just thinks he needs it. And so suddenly everyone thinks he isn't as good. He rubs people the wrong way. I bet you if he had just a straight up honorable match, he would have won a lot of those title defenses. Would he won all of them?
I don't know. I don't know that answer. I don't know that answer.
I don't know, but I'll tell you right now, he's not going to win this one.
I think that's why I'm extremely excited about it, and I want people to, by the way, a couple of things. First of all, go to YouTube, sub to the TF Crew page. Also, Instagram. I put the Instagram link up in a minute. Do go out there and support the TF Crew. I do want to say hello to our friends in VTW, where the Bad Sons are for. So if I could, for a minute, give my thoughts and prayers to actually one of your future opponents, Tyler Aiken. His grandfather passed away actually a few days ago. So I'd like to actually extend my condolences and thoughts and prayers. And I hope that everybody that was impacted by him will take solace in that. And my thoughts and prayers to everybody in VTW, who I know are a huge part of the Wakefield Wedding Invitational. So please, if you could, pass my thoughts and prayers out there to Tyler and his family. I really just a horrible time to lose, especially a loved one and a grandfather right before Christmas. But I want to come back just for a few more minutes before we sign off. But Angel, if he wins next Saturday, let's just say he wins next Saturday. In a way, there's a point to be made that it's almost like he would be an anonymous representative of these YouTube brands because he's a guy that if he came on here and he has these belts, I don't think he'd have the turnout like you did tonight. So objectively speaking, if you win next Saturday, people are going to they're going to want to hear from you the next day on this platform. People they lined up tonight for you. You have 30 plus people here. People all night have been talking to you. Angel, when he's been on here, and I believe in Angel as a competitor, he doesn't get that recognition. He's one of these guys that he's kind of an anonymous figure. He's almost an enigma. in this circuit. In this, you don't want to call it underground fight. You want to call it back. You want to call it indie. You want to call it YouTube wrestling land. And this YouTube wrestling verse of all the champions I've had on over the years, he's kind of one of these guys that's kind of gone unnoticed because people look at him and they see the way he dresses, they see how he looks, they see how he talks, and they go, meh. Next. If you win next Saturday, forget it. Jovi's going to have 50 questions about you. Chase Wakefield's going to have 75 questions about you. This guy and that guy. Hey, Rad, DM me. Come to my company. I'll get your flight up there. Everybody, if you win next Saturday, what's on the line? Everybody. He wins Santiago. If I had him on the next day, I'd have Zilla here. I have a couple other people. They'd say hello. How you doing, Tom? They wouldn't want to ask him very much. If you do this next Saturday, I guarantee you, if you came on right after this, forget about it. It would be everybody and their mother would want to talk to you. And I think that's the difference right now, really. If Santiago wins, what the response will be in social media. But if you win this and you win all the belts, this will be the response, what I just basically laid out. What I laid out is a vision. You win next Saturday. This will be what you, as champion of all the YouTubeverse, and Angel as the YouTubeverse. That's what's on the line here.
Oh, man. Once again, you've said it better than I ever could. Like, that legacy.
And Gabe knows that if you win next Saturday, he knows, wow, you know what? I can get TF Crew more on here. Rad Dad representing my company as Angel. He wins. Yeah, I love Angel. I've interviewed him 2 or 3 times. I believe in him. I believe in his talent, but I know this platform. I know the chat. I know his peers in other places. They're going to go, It's almost like you read the newspaper. You and Papa Bear would come out with the newspaper, and it was like you look at the front page of the story, you didn't like it, you didn't care for it. What did you do? You flipped to the back page, or you threw the paper out in the recycling, hopefully. That's what Angel, he wins next Saturday. That'll be like. It'll be like a disappointment to people. That's what it'll be. It'll be a disappointment.
I mean, I'll say this. If he actually did somehow, some way beat me fair and square, I think a lot of people would look at him differently. Do I think something like that is going to be the case? No. I don't think that. I can't have that in my mind in any way, shape, or form. I know I'm going to win in a fair fight. It's just going to happen. And the idea that a championship that has been around since 2016, 2008, this is decades, literal decades in the making, with TF Crew's championship being around a couple of years now. All of that time, all of those champions, all those YouTube videos, shows across the country, across the world.
1.33 million subs, yep.
Absolutely. All the names we mentioned, all those people and everything, all of that culminates in one match where somebody's going to walk out with all 3 titles. And maybe I'll have to come back on here and we'll talk about, like, am I going to unify them all? Are we going to have a name for them all? Or am I going to keep them separate? Is it a YouTube triple crown, but they're still...
Well, that's also, and I think that's also why people would really like to see you win. I think a lot of the people that came on here tonight before we sign off, peers of yours, sort of, some of them are peers, like, they want you to win. They all want you to win. We've talked about you tonight at Chase Wakefield's wedding invitational, right? We talked about you in Glock Cluster, but, this guy here, that guy here tonight. Hey, can you DM me? Hey, I spoke about names. I mean, you win this next Saturday, and everybody's going to be excited. People are going to I think people, that's what the outcome of what people are hoping for. If your Angel wins, that's how people will look at it. It's exactly my mannerism right now is how they'll look at it. If you win, though, people are going to ask me, is Rad coming on tomorrow? I'm telling you, they're going to ask, is Rad coming on this week? They're going to want you with 3 championships. They're going to want to hear you the whole time. I'm telling you.
I mean, I'll let you in on some inside baseball. I'm very excited to do some promo shots with these belts too. Have all three of them and do all that kind of stuff. That'll be really cool. Just promos with all three, because I'm assuming GTS will allow me to hold all three titles. And TF Crew let me hold all three titles at the same time. You know, it's going to be amazing. And
it would be one of the greatest sites in YouTube wrestling history. To, you know, it's history. It's historic to have that opportunity, and you're the guy to be this. I mean, this would really be like, it's historic. I think with Angel, he wins next Saturday. I think for people, like I said, I love Angel. I've had him on. I believe in his ability, but I don't think people will look at it and go, Angel's had history. They won't. People will just say he won't have the same emotion. He won't. He just won't.
Yeah. It's another one of those things, though. And I'm not saying he's going to win, because that ain't going to happen, but I can't underestimate him either.
Listen, I've seen what he's done in other states. I've seen what he's done. I've seen his martial arts skills. I mean, you're going to have to figure out how to combat that, his jiu-jitsu skills. He's talked about what his father has trained him in some of that respects. He's talked about his own background here. I mean, so he is going to use that, and he's going to use that. And he's also going to use his youth advantage on you. That's what he's going to use. You can't run away from that. I mean, he's going to use these things to his advantage coming up next Saturday.
It's like I said, my grandfather was a boxer. My dad was a second-degree black belt. That's built into me. Not that I'm on the skill level if he is in those practices, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for professional wrestling. And the last thing I want to do, which you've kind of thrown the other side of it, is the last thing I want is to have a Buster Douglas Mike Tyson incident where suddenly he's got 3 belts, and you know that completely changes his career, and he jumps to even higher heights.
And that's the whole thing. This is why I'm going to buy 2 tickets for the show. So I'm really fired up for it, and is because of the fact that, look, if he wins on top of that as well, he's a young kid. You're talking about a 20-something-year-old kid that basically now this kid's career is already cemented. And he did that on your back. You've put so much into this. You think about everything you've done. Guys all look at themselves, and if Rad can do it, I can do it. That's why so many people pay respect to you every time you're here. People know, they look at you, and you know, if Rad made it, Rad's a guy that grinded his way from being a host, and a guy that traveled from Las Vegas, and a guy that's worked his way up to the Indies, has clawed his way to wrestle in the Rock and Roll Express, to come to GTS and to hold the legendary YouTube title and to do all these things. Guys, they identify with you. Angel, they don't identify with him. He's a rich kid from Florida. They look at him and go, yeah, all right, he won. This kid's 20-something years old. This kid, forget about it. This kid, his career cemented, and who knows where he'll go. People won't look at it. Not to say it's Rocky versus Apollo Creed. It's not quite, because it's not Rocky Apollo Creed, but people look at you and they go, they smile when they think about you. They don't smile about Santiago. I'll be honest, most of these people here tonight, they'd have to look and see who he is compared to a picture. People go, I've been watching Rad. You know, people were telling me tonight, when's Rad come? People were DMing me. Rad, I'm so excited for Rad. Angel, they don't give 2 shits if he came on Sportswire. They wouldn't. They wouldn't give 2 shits. It would be, honestly, that's what's on the line. I think like I said, I think he's a phenomenal performer. I think what he does in the ring, I've seen him. I've seen everything he's done. But people would go and they shrug. That's why you have got so much on the line next Saturday. You have so much on the line, because if he wins, and like you said, God forbid he takes it all, it won't mean as much to him. Everything you've done to grind, even what you said tonight about the GBYWN title, what you went through, the sickness, the car ride, the hamstring pain, to go through all of that to win that championship, and what that means to you. Santiago was a twinkle in his daddy's and mommy's eyes 15 years ago. I mean, what was he, 4, 5, 6? He wouldn't have any relations to that. GTS legendary YouTube title, he wouldn't have any much to it. Yeah, he's been on there, but you know, what would it mean to him? What would it wouldn't mean as much. You got so much on the line here next Saturday. I mean, I know we say it's the biggest match, but like this is also first match at 25, sets the tables. I know we talked about Glockcuster, and Glockcuster's great. I love Yaya, but this match is really going to set the tables for you, undoubtedly, for this year ahead. You want that special year you talked about tonight. I still feel like I haven't hit my pinnacle if I was a teenager. Well, guess what? You win next Saturday. You got those 3 belts. You can at least start talking about those photos, that promos you want to do there and want to do here and where you want to go and wrestle there. And that's what's on the line. It's all on the line here. I mean, I can't say much more, but that's what's at stake.
Yeah, I mean, I can end it with this, that there is history on the line. I'm defending history. I'm defending legacy, things that he doesn't understand. He could hear about it, but he wasn't there. He didn't experience it. It's not going to be as deeply rooted as is with me. I was in the trenches at GTS. I was there for nearly every GBYWN Super Show. I moved from Las Vegas to Pennsylvania to be a part of the GBYWN. That's I don't know what else I could say.
You grinded your whole career. Listen, you've been there, you were here, and this was something you packed your bags to do. This was something that you've put hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles in, and that's why guys, they identify with you. They identify with everything that you've went through, and that's what's on the line here. Seeing you with this, and now one more belt. And I think that's what I'm so excited about the event. Before we sign off, I got to put up at least the Eventbrite because I'm sponsoring the show. I like people to go out there, even if you're not in Meridian, Connecticut, go out there and at least follow the TF crew. I'm excited about it. Please go out there and support. I really, really want to give a big shout out to everybody there, dude, especially. And Castor, I'm excited about. Jeff Nova, another guy. Christopher Black. I mean, we got some, great people. I love everybody on this card. I can't say enough good things. Jake Dvorak, my buddy Jake Dvorak. Boy, if I didn't mention him. Another guy, ICW wrestled once upon a time, and Mikey Anarchy. I mean, Grim's going to be there. It's amazing how that's going to be. We spoke about that, and just really excited. Please support the TF crew. Support everybody on the card. Hardcore and Doc Holliday. I mean, what a dream match that is. I mean, that's just, you're on a card headlining, and Hardcore and Doc Holliday are wrestling together. Boy, this is like somebody wake me up. And yes, there you go. See what I mean? Somebody I know from my streams, it just wants to say that, and just that's what it is, and and that's what you mean to people. You mean those things, and I think that's what's at stake here. So I've spoke about a lot. I know this is the end of the year. Is there anything else you want to talk about before closing thoughts? Anything else you want to get off your chest? I could keep you here forever, but I have to let you get the belts off your shoulders because otherwise Gabe will kill me because your shoulders will be injured and then you can't wrestle. And then Gabe will be like, Tom, I met you once in person. I'll never meet you again. So I do want to point that out.
Listen, I went through a lot and I took a lot of time, a lot of cold days, a lot of bumps to get to this point. So the ability to hold these belts side by side on camera is an incredible thing that I never thought would happen. So I could hold these for days.
I wouldn't want you to do that, but I did want to remind you of me and Gabe in real life.
To me, I think the best way to end it is kind of the thing that I thought about a lot when I won these titles, which was it's so amazing to me that I get to inspire people. And when I started realizing that I was doing that, it just made me want to do it more. I want to inspire people. I want people to know that I was just a guy that lived in Las Vegas who there wasn't even a wrestling school. There was no wrestling events. And I had to fly out to other parts of the country in order to backyard wrestle against people I'd never met before. I just had to trust we're going to kill me in my sleep or whatever. and I went and I made the leap. And next thing you know, I'm living in the Northeast. I had training. I wrestled all these great people. I got to know actual pro wrestling legends through this underground backyard scene into the pro scene, having these amazing opportunities to meet people like Ricky Martin and Robert Gibson, legends, heroes to me, who were so amazing to me. And that just makes me want to give more. And the fact that throughout my entire journey in the GBYWN, I got support, and especially the GTS. I got so much support from people I've never met from Paris and from Canada, all over the country, all over the world that I'd probably never meet, but they would message me on Twitter, X, whatever, Instagram, Facebook, and tell me how I've been a fresh bit of air to them in wrestling, how they watch wrestling again because they watched GTS and they saw me, or they saw some clip of me in the yard, and now they think I'm awesome. I've been booked in main events on indie shows because people saw my GBYWN clips.
I believe it.
Me in their main events. I'm so touched in a way that I never thought I would be able to give, and I never wanted it to be about me as much as I wanted it to be about giving to everyone who ever watched me. And it's just, I didn't know if more than 20 people would ever see what I do. And the fact that there's hundreds and potentially, no, not potentially, I mean, GTS, number 7 in the world, thousands, tens of thousands.
I was going to say, you get like 20, 30, 40,000 views a pop on average. I mean,
I've been in videos on GTS that have 100,000 views. That's 1/10 of a million people watch these videos. It blows my mind. And the fact that I'm able to continue to inspire people, I hope you out there watching this now, remember that it's not about you. It's about inspiring others. It's about the whole. You are a piece of pro wrestling. Pro wrestling is not one thing. It's all of us. And all of us, we're all the little tiny bolts and pieces that make up the machine that is wrestling. Pro wrestling, underground wrestling, whatever you want to call it. I call it wrestling because all wrestling matters. Am I right?
Yes.
We're all a piece of that. And you want to be the best piece you can possibly be to make that machine run. And the more I became an optimist and the more I wanted to help others, becoming a tag team wrestling helped me become a team player so much. And the more I did that, the more successful I became. And I want you guys to know that that's the way to go. You got to trust the system. You got to be a part of it. When things don't go your way, it's not a problem to solve. It's a process to follow. And when you follow that process, great things will happen eventually. I can tell you right now, this was a year of a lot of struggles. And it ended like this. And it's going to be even greater next year. And that's what I'm so excited about. I'm going to be a traveling champion. And I'm going to win 3 belts. And I'm going to go on to the Regal Rumble to defend the title against 30 opponents. And I'm going to go into the CZW Dojo, the PAPW facility, GTS Arena, and there's so many places for you.
How about Glock Cluster? You're always in Glock Cluster now these days. You talked about Massachusetts in the past. You've been in, a number of Delaware. You've been in Delaware in the past, and you've been in a lot of places. North Carolina was interested in you. I mean, there's a lot of places, and I think that that's what is on the line. And I think that that's why I'm very excited about next Saturday, TF Crew Unhinged Rumble in the main event. For the YouTube championship, it will be Mr. Radley Belmont, who's the current GTS legendary YouTube champion and the GBYWN world champion against the Puerto Rican Prince Angel Santiago in a legacy match. I'm calling it a legacy match. It would be almost like if Tom Brady and Joe Montana squared off in a football game, LeBron James and Michael Jordan in a basketball game. We are getting that match here. These two guys are in the prime of their careers. We're getting it. The only way you can go out there and see it is in the PAPW facility. If you want to buy a ticket, I've got the link here for everybody, the Eventbrite page. I've donated 1 and soon to be 2 tickets. So if there's somebody that wants to go, you like to go, you can go on me for free. If you want to support the TF Crew, support them on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Also, we're going to see you in action for the New Jack City Slam January 11th against my buddies, the Prodigies, who actually are from Brooklyn. That's going to be another dream match. We have a lot of other great stuff. Chase Wakefield Wedding Invitational later this summer. We're against the Bad Sons, another great dream match, and so many other people could potentially be in the ring with Rad Dad. Stepdads Wrestling on all social media platforms. Go out there and follow him. Today is also Rad Dad Day, and we certainly thank Rad Dad for being so generous. And I will give it to you more off the air. Champ, thank you so much for all that you do for us in our circuit. I can't wait to see you here back in 25. We'll see what happens here after this match. I'm very excited. Can't wait to see what happens in GTS. Everybody goes, if you, for whatever reason you haven't, sub to to GTS and
one more thing. I got one more thing to say.
Just say 100.
This is your last full interview of 2024. Sorry, 2024.
Yeah, it is.
We're almost 2025. I think I'm justified in doing this. I want to say on behalf of every single guest you had this year, thank you very much. Thank you for all that you do. You're always thinking everybody else. You're always talking about how everyone's a legend, how everyone's building themselves up. They're being a big deal. You, sir, are the glue. And for that, we all thank you. From the bottom of my heart,
as kind of you.
It gets. Thank you. You brought me on earlier this year. You made me feel like I was at home again. I hadn't even thought about a lot of this.
Well, you know what? I got to say it because, I watched you do these. I got to be honest, and I told you this because I know Jimmy's the one that connected because Jimmy had been coming on and he was always, Jimmy wanted me to do commentary at Pro Wrestling Veteran. Like, I'm on Sportzwire every night. I can't leave Sportzwire. He actually offered it to me. You want to come down? He's like, come on. I'm like, I can't. But, really, I watched you do these other podcasts, and I'm not going to knock the guys you did, but I really felt, and I said it then, and I'll continue to say it, the only platform that you will come on and you'll be recognized the way you are is here. There's no one else. I'm not saying don't do somebody else's podcast. Do them. I would never tell anybody not to. But the only one that you will get the recognition from your peers and the people that have watched you is here. The only one. The other guys are not going to know you. They're going to know you from the funny Full House music. They're going to know you from a GTS meme. But this is the only one that will objectively give you the chance to talk with your peers. And I think that that's why I will stand the test of time when Zilla takes over for me or anybody else, but is that you come here, you're talking to your peers. Anywhere else, I would never tell you not to promote yourself, but just know that you're not going to get the same connection, not going to get the same camaraderie. And I think that that's why when you come here, that's why it means more because, and I said it the first time and I'll say it every time, welcome home because you are home when you come here. And every wrestler that comes on here from the backyard and the underground especially, they can go to other places. And by all means, I'll never tell them not to, but they know the only place where they're home is here. The only place. Nowhere else. There's nowhere else that they'll be that's home. And that's what it'll be, and that's how it's going to be, and that's the gist of it. But yes, I will be on here tomorrow. I'll be here Monday and Tuesday for New Year's Eve, but this is our last one, and I couldn't think of a better person, and this is Radley Belmont. Please follow him if you haven't. I know people are DMing me already to connect you. I will do it when we're off the air. They're waiting, like, come on, you want me to talk to him off the air, and I'll give you you'll get their Facebooks, whatever it is. And thank you so much, everybody. Let's let Rad Dad enjoy what's left of the year. He'll be in action next 2 Saturdays. Angel Santiago and the Brooklyn Prodigies. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally. We're all Wrestling Matters. I will be here tomorrow, same time, with Anthony Steele to wish him a happy birthday. But in the meantime, those are maybe those 2 prettiest belts in YouTube history. Have a look at them one more time. The GTS Legendary YouTube Championship, the GBYWN World Championship held by the one and only Mr. Rad Dad, Radley Belmont, and my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. The champ is here. He is home, and I can't wait to see him in action next weekend. Until then, we'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a great night. Be safe out there, and if you are not here for the rest of the year, Happy New Year, and we'll see